Also, I think Nibs, without going too far, made a comment about Tanari about what happens when slaves revolt, and the fact that the death toll of women and children and all that is pretty typical. So, just seeing where that goes. And I assume we're going to hop in and head up to the military compound where the guy wants to see us.
Yep.
Because we probably can't get away otherwise.
Well, I'm not sure we can get away anyways.
Yeah.
Alright, well, are you guys good to go?
Yep.
Alrighty. And so Zareth kind of backs up the plank of the ship, undoes the parking brake, and starts driving you guys along. It is starting to get more overcast as the day goes on. What goes from like a gray, cloudy sky just turns deeper throughout the day. When you guys entered into the fold yesterday, it was already late afternoon, so it was already pretty deep. But as we spoke about last session, like, the sun still kind of breaks through a little bit. Not to where it's actually shining, but to where you have at least some light. But that is slowly starting to fade, and a strong piss of rain has started to fall on you guys. So as you guys make your way up, if anybody wants to make perception checks on what they're seeing through the city as they go along.
I'd like to make one.
Okay, you're welcome to.
So
Well, I'm over there. Gracie, can you...
Oh shoot, wait. How was it?
I have no idea. I couldn't see.
Okay, I think I messed it up.
ruined it.
Here.
That means it was bad, probably. So
24.
we'll just reroll.
There you go, Jade.
Oh yeah, that's a lot better.
I got an
21.
22.
8.
You're staring at lilies. They're non-existent.
That are not.
Zaya's high off of one of the brownies.
Should I use this as my dice tray?
Oh my
Yes.
god.
That's looking kind of cool, actually.
Mold it.
I didn't get to it.
Alright, so we got a 21, 22.
That one.
24.
Nibs is...
Yeah, don't roll on that.
Yeah. I was just... Yeah, it's foam. If I took the foam out, maybe, but...
Alrighty.
So, here.
Nibs is also
You
staring
done
at Lily's
cocked it
Probably
Wondering
that one.
existence.
This was
4. 17.
17.
17 plus 5 for 20. 22.
So as the four of you are on the top of the deck, just kind of peeking about, the almost oblong, rounded architecture of this city is very, very strange and pertinent. Again, a lot of purples, a lot of grays, quite a few blacks. As you're going through the center of the city, as you were somewhat on the western edge, you guys have to come back through the center to go back up. The northern section of the center of the city that you had not been in yet, there are a lot of blues. Almost too many. Because all of these establishments are gated areas. You would say this is the high-end section of the city, much larger and nicer houses that have 2-acre plots, some like 5-acre plots in the middle of the city. And these are all centered in and around like large spires and squares and market areas where large taverns and inns are set. And so it's somewhat weird seeing all of this intermixed, as you generally, in most cities where you guys are, mostly separated in those regards. But it seems quite mixed in here with very high-end stuff. There's a casino or two that you guys go by, but nothing is active, so...
Here, I would gamble my 23 gold.
My 23 gold. Well, you have 50 Electrum.
Think they left gold in the casino?
That was what I was wondering, but...
Ooh. Did they even use gold in this civilization?
Probably not, but who cares?
Probably had credit cards of some sort.
So,
Like, how much... Okay, what time of day is it? Did it take us most of the morning to get there?
it's probably somewhere around 11 to noon at this point. You guys woke up fairly early.
Is it our intention to meet with him and try to get back to get out of the thing tonight, if possible? Like leave
Leave the fold or leave
the
the
fold,
city?
leave the fold to regroup, or are we
No.
wanting to?
I definitely didn't think that was on the table.
I was just curious, like if
Well, we still got to do like our mission,
we do.
which is mapping the fold.
However, if they don't die and they've been around this long, it's not like one of them might not be able to give us a fully detailed map,
It's possible.
That's also fair.
which is
Yet.
one of the reasons Nibs handed him the paired journal.
I reckon they'd
I mean,
want
I
a
know
favor done, though, in exchange for that kind of info.
We don't need more side quests, people.
I know that Warden is not necessarily in any rush to get out of the city. I mean,
Okay,
this
that's
is-
all I wanted to clarify.
This is literally like all the
We
answers
just
in
said
his
we're not
life
gonna
he's been
do
searching
things, we're
for
gonna do
since he
speed
woke up. So
and
Nibs
Okay.
has no
By
issue
doing
staying
this.
here. This is Nibs is about knowledge.
So you complete the main quest.
This is
by
not the
doing
path
this.
of least
Yeah.
resistance.
And I
This
know
is the
that-
path of most resistance possible.
I actually did my own prep work for a character, but no, Warden has all sorts of questions he wants to ask. So.
Cool. Are you riding up top or just contemplating down below while we?
I'm up top, but I'm kind of sitting on the side of the deck, kind of looking outward, still doing Warden things, scanning the horizons and things like that. So. But from just looking at the timeline of things, in the past couple hours, he just had a lot of really big revelations of what was going on outside of his little box that he lived in. So,
Absolutely.
and that there were this many automatons out and about.
Or
He was definitely a
Historically out and
sheltered
about.
boy. A6 was sheltered.
I mean, not just homeschooled, but homeschooled in the basement.
Yeah, he was kept there.
His parents only spoke Klingon.
He didn't even know there was a world outside of that building.
You guys know who I'm referencing?
I do not.
no, but it's funny.
There's a specific person.
So, yeah, sorry. Side note, there was a kid that social services came and took from his parents.
Oh,
And
I did
because
hear about that.
they, to protect him from the world, they homeschooled him in the basement. Never let out, never saw the sun of day.
Oh my gosh.
And they only spoke Klingon. So the kid did not know English or any other language but Klingon. So they
So no actual language.
Klingon is
Okay,
actually
yes.
It is. It is.
It is recorded.
It's a
but like
fully
it's
It is
not
a full. Yeah.
It's a fully fledged.
But how
language.
many people
As-
in the world actually speak Klingon?
A surprisingly large number.
Yeah.
Too many. That's
Hey,
how
it's-
many.
it's the
Probably
same
under a
thing-
million?
It's the same thing with Tolkien Elvish. Like, it's a real language. that
But it
people
sounds
speak.
cooler.
It does sound way cooler.
I want to learn one of those click languages. Those are so fucking
Even
cool.
like from
From like the African
Africas.
tribes that pretty much don't
Yeah.
socialize with
Okay, so
anything.
sorry.
it's
Yeah.
one of the
Anyway,
oldest languages.
yes, there was a homeschool kid who only spoke Klingon. So,
That's super depressing.
yeah, they went.
I'm glad I'm not that kind of homeschool.
How do I know about this? Well, it's easy because it's me.
Hello.
Okay, so
Big deal.
you guys make your way through the
I want to say
city,
good pizza, but I want to.
and so you guys were the ones who rolled 20 or over.
I really
When
yeah,
it do.
24.
Yeah.
21.
Nibs is gonna look out for anything he thinks might have a
We
conversation.
had rolled a perception check a while ago that I
I
don't.
rolled a 14.
So,
Yeah.
if we see anything that might hold power, like an actual power thing, that's pretty good possibility Nibs would like to jump off, try to check it, hop back on kind of thing.
There are a few situations where you find something that you would assume is run off of one of those batteries that seems in fairly good condition, but each time that you hop off to go check it, there is no battery inside.
Figured.
As you guys approach the northern side of the city, you're quite confused because there are about 80-foot high walls that are made of a almost oblique, like just stained material that you guys up to this point had not seen.
What color?
Who
What
built
color?
this wall?
It's a somewhat grayish black, but it almost seems reflective.
Can I roll perception and see if this wall was possibly built by Mexico?
It's the UAE.
It
It's
was
the
built by
UAE.
it was built by the droids because people don't know how to work.
Well, obviously. But I just want
But-
to make sure Mexico didn't have any hand in building this wall. If they did,
Mexico
They might have
built
paid
walls.
for it. They probably
Did they at least pay for it? Either way, this very, very tall wall you guys had not seen up to this point. Up until you were maybe half
Why
a mile
not?
away.
Why did we not see it? We
Because
saw the
it's
big ass
dark.
tower that was only half its
Buildings.
size.
buildings.
buildings and it's dark.
It is dark.
It's not that dark. It wasn't that dark earlier.
That's
Well, it is
that's
also
the point I'm
there's
trying to
downfall.
make. It is a very obviously stop looking at me with those eyes. Very obviously
No.
whack wall. Whether it's magical or in some sense just attempting to be illusory, you don't know.
He also
But-
said it was kind of an oblique grayish,
Are you
There-
telling me that I
which
cannot
the
roll to
horizon
figure
is
out what it
oblique and grayish.
I'm
Oh.
saying that your character definitely couldn't, Shrek.
Also,
I'm saying if
can
someone
I just take a moment here? You talked about acres when you talked about a lot of plots of land around houses.
Mhm.
Exactly how big is this city?
we,
in radius?
this city
Big
is slightly larger than Wichita.
Oh, that's
That-
right.
that
You already
was-
said that.
Yeah.
So it's about a 10-mile radius. Wait,
No.
5-mile radius.
What
Part of Wichita
More
are
like a
you from?
15-mile radius,
What
bro.
part of Wichita
To drive from the western edge of Wichita to the
North
eastern
is
edge is
way
like
northeast.
26 miles. And
Okay,
north
so
to
it
south
would
is
be-
20
Maze
plus.
is more than 5-mile radius.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 was closer. I was gonna say.
10 was closer, but,
But
it's still
more like
undershoot.
so it's more like a 15-ish mile radius.
Yeah, 13 to 15 mile radius for the city. Somewhere around there. Either way, as you guys make your way up to this wall, there are noticeably large holes around its base. And some, awkwardly enough, mid-air through the wall. These holes are somewhere around 10 or so feet wide and about 25 to 30 feet tall. And they're just in randomized shapes and such, but all of them...
Purposeful?
Huh?
Are they purposeful?
They seem to be.
The holes are purposeful.
The holes seem to be. I'm gonna see if I can turn you up anymore, Jade, because if anything else is going on, I cannot hear you when you're talking unless everyone else shuts up.
Maybe you should.
Sorry.
Bish. See, we got the abuse on camera, Zach.
And everyone-
So the coloration of the wall is kind of like some kind of cheese, right?
No, it's gray and black.
Yeah, like some kind of cheese that's been left out in the
Like
sun.
some cheese.
It's a holy cheese. It's a wall of cheese that has
Oh
been
my
left
goodness.
out in the sun for too long.
So
Or not.
these enormous holes in the side of this wall are large enough for the skiff to fit through, barely. Or at least you could find one that is large enough for it to fit through. So I'm assuming you guys go through?
Yes.
Can I see if it's trapped? I am a little curious and a little cautious if we're going to be going through this thing.
Yeah, if there's like an energy shield or something.
I want to ask our driver if he's ever seen this thing before.
It's going to do.
No, as I've said multiple times at this point, I have not been in Ace use.
I know, but if you drove around it, they might go around or something. I don't know.
He
As
has
far as
not
I
been
know,
in
no.
Asus.
Does
This
it
wall-
look like?
Asus.
Okay, so is it like a wall that could be like patrolled, like up at the top, or is this just like a complete?
You can't see, like you can see the top, but you can't see if there's a flat plane at the top
Our skiff can't get
to
up.
walk.
Okay, and is it? can we see through any of the holes this far? Like, can we see what's beyond without going through?
You can see some. There's mostly open ground, just cobblestone roads. There are some buildings and such, but it's not like you can tell exactly what's on the other side.
Do they look?
there?
Do the buildings look residential or more like commercial,
This is
military?
Definitely more
This is the military.
They're definitely more commercial.
Okay.
Nibs throws a rock through one of the holes. Does anything happen?
It passes.
I think we should throw Zai through and see what.
I think we should all
Actually,
just
no.
go through
No,
together.
Nari wants Trek to go through because Trek's always pissing her off.
Trek's like, what did I do?
Do you tell him to?
I said, I'm gonna try and persuade him to walk through on his own.
No, you don't need to. If you tell Trek to, he's gonna do it.
Oh, okay. Trek, I think you should go. You should be our lookout. Can you tell us what's
go
on the other
scout.
side?
Go scout it out.
You scout it out for a second. We'll back you up.
Yeah, one of the two people that doesn't have the little communication things should definitely go through.
Yep.
No, wait.
Hey,
we don't know
if you see
what-
something disturbing, caw twice like a brown owl and once like a barn owl. And if nothing's wrong, just come back.
Alright, so Trek is going to approach one of the holes that looks big enough for the ship to go through.
Okay.
Warden is gonna, just for shits and giggles, Warden's gonna kind of walk with him behind him, but he's gonna kind of keep his finger on his back, having spare the dying going.
So I guess Nibs is riding on your shoulder. I was gonna offer to walk with you, but if you're going, I'll just ride with you. Hop on your shoulder.
Okay. So Trek, since you are the first one to step up, are you doing this stealthily?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Is my passive that a trace still going? I can't remember.
No.
No.
No, that was last night that it was going.
This is a fat minute.
That was so
I roll
yesterday.
an insight to see if maybe this is an opportunity that I should take to be using passive that a trace.
Are you smart enough to even think about that?
Damn.
That's what he wants to know.
Usually,
What's your intelligence?
I would
What's
say
your base intelligence?
it doesn't require an insight because there's nothing to insight. This is an empty city. Like,
Does it look dangerous, I guess?
yes, it looks dangerous. The
The
whole
whole
city
city.
looks dangerous.
Okay, then I won't worry about it. Yes, I'm doing so stealthily. Can I roll stealth?
Yes.
his name Tom.
16.
Okay, so as you step through the door, you're kind of like looking around, not door, but opening.
My hand is straight out, by the way.
You're looking around, seeing if there's any like booby traps. Are there wires at my feet? Is there anything here? And you kind of like peek your head through, and at this point you have stepped through or stepped into the opening, and you notice that while you were on the outside, the wall seemed to be only, a few feet thick, maybe 4 or 5 feet thick. As you step into the opening, it almost becomes a tunnel. As you walk through it, and it is a 20-foot thick wall.
But I'm fine.
But you're fine.
Thus far.
Okay.
As you
The
peek,
skiff doesn't fit in there, does it?
No,
No,
this is
it
one of
does.
the ones that would.
as you peek out the other side, you notice these buildings are far more rigid. The rounded homes and residential buildings of these previous sections, that's not for this side of town. They're not about that life here. They're very much simplistic. Build 4 walls, put a roof on it, and let's build shit inside.
So it's not like it's built by different people, just for a different purpose.
Yes.
Got it.
They didn't contract the Mexicans.
And stepping in, I would like you to make a perception check.
Since we're walking with him,
You guys can make one. As well.
do we
Looks like
assist
we were
him or do we
right
make
by.
our own?
You can make your own. You're right behind him.
Is that a date combat?
So when they go in, what do we see?
That
What you guys see is you guys see them step in and then pretty much continue walking out the other side.
I rolled a 27, natural 20.
Nice. Nibs.
11.
Does it
11.
appear distorted in any way, like time distorted?
No.
Because for them to walk 20 feet inside of what we perceive
It's
to be a few
illusory
feet-
fuck. It's illusory mind. It messes with your head. It's
Okay.
It is very obviously to you at this point that this is an incredibly magical defensive barrier that has both enchantment and illusion magic on it. To not just mess with people's heads, but also their perception of what the wall itself
I have a
is.
feeling it only lets people that it wants through.
Then why would it let Trek through?
Because we're on
Because-
assignment to go see it.
Because we are, as a party, instructed to go see someone who's probably there already.
So, as you guys are stepping through, y'all rolled fairly well.
Nat 20? Yeah.
Nat 20. Well, average. Average.
Have they made it all the way through?
Yes.
I'm gonna
We're
I'm gonna like
skiffs-
mind speak to the two of them. Hey, is it safe? What's going on?
We're having
we
the
good to come
skiff
through?
follow us slowly behind. Like,
Yeah,
what's
you guys,
happening.
they're
Okay.
staying within 100 or so feet of you guys. And so, as you guys step through, looking out, Trek, you're kind of looking forward, and you see a couple automatons and such on the ground that seem completely derelict and destroyed. Like, beaten to a pulp. You see some skeletons set around that are still somewhat fresh. You would assume them to be adventurers and such.
Do they still have their backpacks and gear and stuff on them?
They have nothing on them. And what they do have on them, in terms of like armor and such, is completely shredded and destroyed. Like, they could not be saved. It would be better to just smelt them and then remake an armor. But as Trek and Nibs are coming through, they're kind of looking out. Warden, when you take a peek up to look at Nibs, you look above, and there is a pointy aircraft that is lodged some odd 8 or so feet into the wall.
8 or so feet into the wall or above us?
Into the wall. It's about 30 feet above you, but it is almost halfway through the wall.
How can they tell how far through the wall it is?
It's a 20-foot wall.
It's a 20-foot wall, and they're like, okay, we think there's about this much
Warden.
space on the rest of the ship.
Okay.
Warden
I would
probably.
say it's
Well,
more shit, wouldn't it?
Warden would be able to probably deduce that because he's probably seen the ship design before, or at least seen something of it.
That's fair.
I worked in R&D for a while. I probably would have seen some things regarding the technology.
Seen some shit, done some shit.
Actually, that's a really fair point. Would I recognize the grenade launcher looking thing he has?
You do not.
Oh.
That was not something that you worked on. However, looking up at the ship, I would like you to make me a history check.
History? Why
It's just a
history?
little pew pew gun.
Something that I literally just freshly remembered.
Can I assist in any
That sounds
method?
like a 30d6 kind of
I would say you can help with a internal process. Social and physical are easy to help with, but at least for me, things like a history check, you're researching your own memories. You can't help someone do that.
Unless you give me bless or vein. Or
Yeah, and unless you like have some kind
Guidance!
of magical
But I don't.
ability of some kind. Why is you so loud all of a sudden?
Why are you orchestral?
That is an 18 plus 3. That is a 21 history check.
21 history check. So as you're thinking about it, the ship does somewhat come to mind. It is an ERC 17.
ERC said.
It is a still developmental aircraft that is supposed to be flown with a pilot, which is incredibly rare for this day and age, especially for this city. And you're kind of analyzing it and looking at it, and you see the cockpit and all of that. The cockpit is open and there is nothing inside. How the ship appears, it is a...
Wait, did you say he opened the cockpit?
No, it
No.
is
No,
open.
the cockpit is open.
Is the
Is.
ship like upside down or something?
It's slightly tilted to the side. If he moves enough over one way, he can look up into it.
Okay, I'm like, how did he suddenly get 30 feet in the air?
Well, because
Don't question the narration.
I'm just trying to make
Also
sure I
really
understand the
cool.
mechanics.
I'm really cool like that.
He has a 50-foot jump.
That's
I was about to
When we
say toss
upgraded
me,
him,
but
he got
I-
a new jetpack asshole.
I could probably modify myself to have that high of a jump. But
I would.
Either way,
Yeah,
as you're peering up at
We
this
should have
thing,
thought about that
it
when we were
is
looking at the hologram.
the ship itself is about 25 or so feet long and almost completely cylindrical, other than 4 spouts that go out maybe 3 feet that appear to have some kind of booster beneath them that have 90-degree rotation, so they can go onto the side or the bottom or back side, anywhere they can't push downwards for the ship though. But there are 4 of those, and then on the bottom side there is a rack of different items. You can't really tell, but you would assume they're missiles or weaponry of some kind set on the bottom side. And other than that, the nose, about 6 feet from the end of the base cylinder, narrows down to a very, very sharp point. And you can tell that that section of the ship, while it's in the wall, you can see bits and pieces of it. It is made of a very, very different metal. It was supposed to be a ship that can go through other crafts.
Unobtainium.
Yes.
Specifically a diamond obsidian base, a plate set on the outside of the ship.
Unobtainium.
That's not
Obtainium's that thing from Avatar,
Avatar,
right?
yes.
Okay. I was like, this is a reference.
And so with that, you guys kind of beckon the skiff to come through. And as you guys do, you kind of peek up and look at it. Is there anything you guys are wanting to...
Yeah, with the ship there at its highest point, how high is it from if Nibs wanted to get to that? Like, what's
It is 30 feet above the highest point of the entrance. So it is about 45 or so feet up.
Nibs is going to kind of look at it. Your shoulder and look at you. Look back at it.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the ship, and then he looks at me, I look at him, I look at the ship.
You got a grappling arm attachment?
Actually, one in development.
Well, I was going to say toss me, but he reaches it.
Yeah, Mike.
And he goes, but, let me see what I can do. I'm going to pull out my 50-foot of rope.
Okay.
And
As he pulls out his 50-foot of rope, I'm going to pull out the bag holding essentially my entire mechanism that I have been crafting
Okay.
most nights, forging away at. And right now there's a physical trigger mechanism because it's not attached to me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to just beckon to him and show you. What you see is what is essentially a hand crossbow that has been completely cast out of metal with a steel bowstring, and the anchor and the 2 mountaineering hooks coming off of the sides that I bought in the very first session. And then you also see attached to that anchor is the entwined reinforced rope and chain that I bought. I set the spool kind of aside,
I put my rope back in.
and
that one looks like.
and I begin to cock and load it, but I remove the mountaineering hooks, fold back in the mountaineering hooks, and giving kind of a flatter surface of just the anchor, and I say, "Will this do?" Oh yeah, and as you're seeing this, I am literally full, like the entire the entire hand crossbow and the entire mechanism. I'm literally like physically unfolding it.
I'm gonna look at it, smile over back, and go, Mike! It's like, we got a special shot for you.
What?
Look at this side. Look at this beauty.
And he's like, mine's kind of get a little bit wider.
It's like,
It's about the length of
we're
one's
once.
forearm.
Yeah, it's
so.
like.
So probably
It's-
as long as
yeah.
it's him.
Oh yeah, Nibs can't shoot this.
Well, the nibs can't shoot it. It's
It's
like,
It's
you only got the
size.
shot.
His forearm's probably
Yeah, it's
about
like-
2.
That's what I'm saying. It's literally.
The whole
Nibs is
thing
like-
is about this
yeah.
big, probably.
Nibs is like, come on up here. Come up here, Warden. can you squat down and then hold it and he can aim it? That way he doesn't have to hold it up.
This is a massively not great idea. Alright. Say it outright.
And then Ward says, I agree, but I have also not fired this yet.
Even not great idea, guys.
Anyway,
And then Warden takes out a couple straps of leather that he has and just literally ties it to one of his arms. Gets on one knee with one arm with the spool, holding the spool of the chain and the entwined chain and rope, so that way it can rotate quickly. And then is just going to lock his arm into a position, and I'm just going to I'm going to turn to Mikhail and say, "You may move my arm in whatever direction you need to aim."
Okay. I got you, homie.
And then I also notion towards the trigger action.
yes.
This is to fire.
Preferably in the little indentation. What do you call the thing where the hole in the middle there? He doesn't know it's the cockpit, but what would you? It's like
Got it. You want it in the hole.
the big one thing.
That is the pilot seat.
Yes, the pilot seat, not the little pipes coming out the back. I can't fit through the. Well, I probably could, but I don't want to.
I'm going to move his arm around and get a nice good aim at that.
Okay.
I'm assuming he's
So,
sitting on the anchor.
You step around. Yeah. I'm trying to decide what roles this regards.
I was gonna say, what do I
Athletics?
do?
It's not athletics for the shot.
That's not for sure.
It's
So,
Well,
Warden,
for him
I
trying
will
to get
have
on
you roll a. We'll call it an athletics check for you. Dependent on that roll, we'll see what kind of bonuses or negatives you have. Now, it will be a crossbow attack, so you will have proficiency on this.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll your athletics check, Thomas.
What's the difference between athletics and acrobatics?
would you
One is like
Zeal?
a gymnast
Zeal.
dodging in comparison
Hey, Z,
to a marine
Would
dodging.
you be willing to give them a little bit of inspiration with your
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
playing a
yeah.
little
Yeah.
tune to help them out with
Think of,
this?
like,
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna cast
dodging
Bardic Inspiration for.
versus
Who should I do it? Should I do it
Throw
for?
15.
So for
15.
Warden,
Which one's
Yeah,
which?
Bardic.
Okay,
Athletics would be
Bardic
wrestling,
Inspiration.
acrobatics would be
Sick.
like.
Which will be the.
Is
Is
it
it
D8
D8
now?
at this point? Yeah.
Is it D8?
Hold on. Yeah, I believe so.
Yep.
He's level 7, so no, it's not.
Where is? I forgot.
So that is a 23.
Doyle.
So you set your legs out, and you balance, and you're holding it somewhat on your back of sorts.
Oh no,
Mikael,
I strapped it on my
strapped to his
arm.
arm.
it's strapped to your arm.
What I
So
did is
you-
I strapped it to my arm so he can literally just move my arm as needed to aim it.
So go ahead and make it. This will be with a +2. Now, I will say, what you're aiming for here is somewhat difficult
At the end.
at your angle and such.
But as long as
Do
we
you
get
want
to
to
the
use
So
Sure.
you have to hit a 22.
what?
No, we'll say a 20.
To be on target, but what about the ship itself?
To be on target. So, what exactly are you aiming for? Let's go with that.
I'm trying to put it in the hole.
You're trying to put it in the hole?
Yeah.
They
Which
said
is
I
in
want
the
it in the
center of
hole.
the
I'm
ship.
putting it in the hole.
Cock.
So that will be a 20.
20 to hit the center of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's +2 plus proficiency.
+2, plus what you would shoot for your crossbow. You have proficiency with it, and it's a dex weapon. So you would get your basic
So-
attack modifier.
Crossbow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have
Crossbow.
a +7 normally, so I have a +9.
So you have a +9, and you're
Okay.
attempting to hit a 20.
27.
27?
Damn.
That's more than a 20, that's for
All right. You're just gonna start climbing.
So you definitely you're just like moving around his arm, and then you like pull the little lever that he's using as a trigger for this period of time, and it almost launches you back. You know how like a
Warden
rocket
doesn't
launcher
flinch.
has
But
backfire?
just kicks out behind.
Yeah, it just the
Literally
power
not
that this thing launches with almost pushes you back onto the ground, but you aimed it right. And it sticks through the center of this thing. It breaks the glass of the cockpit that has been flipped up, and then sinks back in with a hook on it at this point. It has a hole in it, but
Nice.
not big enough for you to crawl through, so you have to get up
Athletics?
there and crawl around. So
Nice
this
bow.
would be an athletics or acrobatics check.
Thank you. It is taking time.
Alright.
Getting
I
fired
can't
like
see.
an artillery
Any
cannon.
idea?
It's a 16.
Plus 8.
24.
So with a 24, almost as if a monkey was climbing a rope, you just in like 3 or 4 bounds come up this like wrought iron chain link just rope, climb up, and you sink your claws into the side of the ship, and then climb around. You get more towards the base, and you attempt to sink your claws in, and you realize you hit that obsidian plate, and you just ping off, and you're like, okay, I gotta go more this way. So you climb up to the top, and you are now in the cockpit.
Okay. What do I need to roll?
What are you looking at?
Roll an investigation, just to see what you see. There's a lot here.
He doesn't know what he's
Investigation.
looking at.
Yeah.
Nope.
And I don't have the spell prep
19.
where I can
19?
telepathic images to people.
So as you're sitting here,
Telepathy images.
there is a large lever coming out where your feet are, but you would assume it would be more like where the crotch is of a regular-sized human.
Pull the lever.
Oh,
The bull
Why do we even have that level?
setting
Why would we
around,
have that lever?
there is an absolute smorgasbord of buttons and levers and switches all around. Looking around, it does translate to your most native tongue, so it's like boosters and engines and all this other stuff.
He
that it's
doesn't
talking
know.
about.
He doesn't even know. The
And
words
it's
of the
talking
names.
about engine 1, 2, 3, 4. You see all of them have a little dial on them that are fairly low to 0. Turning around, you see on your back right hip, like where your shoulder is, being your size creature, there is a small compartment that is just barely popped open.
Okay. I would like to.
So
Peek in
you
there.
kind of peek in, and inside you find 3 small cylinders that seem to be with like blue insides of energy that's swirling around them.
I am going to do this and tell the group, hey, this thing's pretty neat. Looks a lot more advanced than any Dwarven or Gnomish inventions I've ever seen. And I'm going to describe the little the cockpit to everyone, to you guys. And then I'm going to say, I'm thinking this might be one of them power sources, just maybe a little smaller. And I'm going to describe what I see in there.
Warden is going to state that is indeed a power source. Please bring it back when you return.
That's 20? What would you roll?
It was a 13 plus 7. I think that Drake now knows that you guys have comms that he doesn't have.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, because you're going to... Yeah.
Because I'll physically
He
say
doesn't
that.
have a lot around him, to be honest, but
Wait, so do I still not know this?
Well, he starts talking, describing, he's answering the question, and they're all going,
Oh,
I mean, unless he physically said that out loud, I don't know.
I
Okay,
feel like we did talk about that though when we first got
literally.
when we first got to this city. We were talking about a buddy system, and we were talking about the fact that us 4 have
That's
stuff,
true.
so we had to partner with one of the ones who didn't have the
That is true.
Connection.
You
Can
would
I-
have known.
So you guys would have already
can I
known.
roll an insight to see if I can figure out how to take the power out?
He just now realized that's what we were talking about. Is what he's trying to
I'm not doing it.
So
Like an insight into how to disconnect.
or it was all just...
they seem to be spares. that
Okay,
you can
we are
just
not
slide
hearing
right out.
anything Jade is saying.
Okay.
Hold on real quick, Logan. What are you saying, Jade?
I was assuming before that when we were talking about comms, those sessions ago, that we were talking about like in a sense, like it wasn't...
Above
We
board.
were actually talking about it.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So as he's doing this,
I'm going to ask you, can I put him in a bag of holding? Or will he go woof?
it is not that type of arcane magic.
Ah, sweet. I'm going to start shoving anything loose in my
Okay,
bag.
there are 3 of those smaller
3
cylinders.
small.
One thing of incredible interest, those are really the only loose things in here. However, as you're climbing out, you kind of bump the side of the ship, and as you hit it, you assume that you hit a button because you're behind you, and you turn around, and there's another compartment that is popped open that you pull out, and there is a small oblong, maybe 16-inch long item with a small shaft that comes down at the end with a trigger in the center.
Damn, they're really working for it.
I like triggers. I look at it.
Grab it.
Back holding.
Bag of holding.
As before he exits, Warden is going to comms over to Nibs and say, I would like to see if this aircraft is still functional. I will walk you through this process.
Alrighty. I'm good with that.
And in the best of detail in my mind,
Go ahead and roll me a flat intelligence check. Nibs, go ahead and roll me a flat intelligence check.
Intelligence.
As we are doing that, the ship has begun to get guided through the section. And as Zareth is doing that, those who are still on the ship is Mikhail, Zai, and Nari. And at that point, I'm
I
gonna...
was technically with him.
You were with us?
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
you
we
were.
called.
Yeah.
Okay.
he
So...
fired the thing.
Yeah. As that's going on, the ship kind of glides through, and as he's doing that, Zareth kind of calls out to you, Nari. You want to learn how to drive it?
Probably a good idea.
He kind of beckons you
Yeah.
over and points some stuff out, and then literally just leaves you there at the console. Like, he gives you the basic
Does he
descriptions.
tell me where the parking
so-
brake is?
He shows you where the parking brake is. He shows you where the emergency brake is. He shows you the basic idea of how to guide the craft. It's not too far off from what you thought, but it is a far, far, far more sensitive navigation system than you assumed it would be.
Okay.
So it takes some pretty dexterous movements to be able to guide it. I would like you to make an intelligence check for me.
I got.
Can I also make an insight check to figure out if he's planning on ditching or something while he's...
Yeah, sure. You can make that insight check as well.
Okay, so this is the investigation.
Or the intellect.
And it's
Intelligence.
Or, wait, you're right. Intelligence. So that was then... No,
Straight roll plus.
great. 10
10.
intelligence. And insight is...
Peasant.
15.
15. For intelligence, you get the baseline idea. You probably won't be able to make the ship as quiet as Zareth would be.
But I can get us away.
But you could hop on and gun it and try and get away from the situation. Possibly run into something, but you'll have to get in that situation to find out. In terms of the insight check, this is not a I want to bail, so I want someone to be able to drive the skip. If that was the case,
But do I get an impression of why he's suddenly asking me?
around.
There's a ship above him.
there is a ship above him, and there are some other things that are intriguing him. And also, you feel he just, in general, likes having backups, but also prefers to work alone. But has started to, not necessarily warm up to you guys, but recognize that at least somewhat you can handle yourselves. And so someone else should be able to drive the ship, because in a couple of the combats, he has been swarmed.
Yeah.
And if that were to occur, then you guys would be left in the water.
Was I close enough to hear any of what was happening in that conversation?
You would have been close enough to hear some of that.
Okay, so like I understand vaguely, like a little bit less vaguely than other people how to drive it.
Yeah. And
A little less vaguely. I like
Warden
that.
So I got a. Just going back. I got 17 on
17?
my intelligence.
And
This
I got
is- this is not a runnable craft. One of you had to roll above a 15. That was
Oh, okay.
So this is not an aircraft that can be flown anymore. It, one, would require an excavator of some kind to get out of the wall.
No, just reverse thrust.
Reverse thrust would probably snap the front side of the plane off, where the regular metals meet the obsidian.
So okay, two things. Has the ship has our craft moved so that if this falls or I drop something?
Yeah, they've moved well.
Okay.
Nari has kind of positioned it to the side.
I'm going to come back out, crawl back around. Once I was going to say, and
Yeah,
I want
go ahead and roll
to see. I'm going to ask you about the missiles and things under the wings.
Oh, what's the cart like the underneath the
Yeah.
cargo underneath?
Yeah, the cart. Yeah. I'm inquiring about those.
Yeah.
Because they look
Yes,
like I
Nari?
might be able to disconnect.
Nari, as she's parking, would like to look around and try and get a sense. Like, where's the nearest building? Is it like in a distance or is it
No,
like
it's like literally 30 feet from the wall.
Can I don't know. I don't know if this is even realistic. I would like to try and look around and see if I can figure out if I'm being watched or like we're being watched. Because I mean, we had
So go ahead and
to
roll a
do.
perception check.
23.
23. As you are set over there, you're kind of peeking around and you look back towards the ship, and Zareth is attempting to make eye contact with you and kind of beckoning you to come back to the ship.
Alright, I'll start heading back that way, and
Shrek, can you make a perception check as well?
I'm going to telepathically tell these two we are little walkie-talkies. I'm going
Walkie-talkies.
back on over the ship.
Walkie doggies.
This is 22, Zach.
22. After you see Mikhail begin to head back to the ship, Zareth has begun looking at you as well and kind of beckons you back.
Okay.
I get the sense that this is supposed to include the rest of the party, or is he trying to single me out?
He is actively singling you out in this regard.
And I would like to slip one away in a fashion that does not call to attention the rest of the party.
Okay.
Warden is currently
For
focused
Trek,
on-
that's difficult, but I would say you somewhat manage it.
And you're still on the ship.
Yeah, with Nari. Anyways,
How far is he from the ship?
Both of you guys,
Zareth
Zareth's on the ship.
Oh, he's on the ship.
He's on the skiff,
Shrek is the one who just called.
and he's beckoning you guys to come back to the skiff,
Okay.
which is, 100 feet away.
Yeah.
Max.
um,
What is Nari doing? As
Nari was making her perception, kind of scanning the
So,
buildings.
what do you
I rolled an 18.
An 18? You don't see anything in the buildings. Like, obviously a very different type of architectural structure
Yeah.
and such. As you are...
Does it look like any of the paths have been used recently?
used.
I don't know if there's a
There
way to tell
are
that.
actually some. You notice the trail that the skiff generally leaves in the roads. There is one set of a similar pathing
That is
has
not
led through
ours.
this area. Yes, because you haven't gone down that road yet.
Does it look fresh or old?
It looks very old.
Gotcha.
There's no fresh or old. Like it's
I guess
cutting
that's
through
fair.
cobblestone. It's not footprints.
I guess that's fair.
So anyways, he went under the aircraft and is asking me what these are and if he is able to take them off. Warden, who has now finished packing folding up his grappling hook. Or no, wait, the cable's still there.
I can disconnect it for you if you want it.
No, I'll keep it out. I forgot about that fact. Warden, who went and anchored it on the ground, so now it's just kind of a chain going down. Tries to get a closer look at what is exactly on the bottom of it. Like we all saw. Like I saw that obviously it had stuff underneath it, but knowing what it's capable of holding underneath it. What would I know? Or would I need to get a closer look, aka he has to communicate that to me?
Can you simplify your question?
Yeah.
What's on the
What
bottom?
is on the
What's on the bottom?
Can
There
I-
is something
can I
on the
see
bottom.
what's
Oh,
on
so there is no missiles.
You said there was a rack.
There is a rack of weaponry that is non-detachable stuff. Like you could maybe
What is
beat
the
it off,
weapon?
but you would destroy it.
Would I know what the weaponry is?
One of them. It was over there.
Bye, Felicia.
I'm assuming
Oh, there you are.
Jade just had to leave and rejoin. You do not recognize the weaponry on this craft, because the weaponry is attached separately from the creation of the craft itself.
Okay.
So it's a mix and match of, hey, unscrew a bolt, screw another one on, kind of thing.
But he's not capable of detaching.
Oh.
Anyways,
There is that zero.
you are not
subdivisions.
capable of detaching them.
Okay. Nibs will nod. What Nibs would like to do is I'd like to crawl back around and disconnect the grapple, so it's not so that you can wind it back down.
Okay.
Because your grapple is worth more than a rope, and I'll just take a rope and tie it to it. I'll secure a rope because if you can't. Can you disconnect the grapple from the ground?
It would be difficult.
I mean, I don't think you.
Not with the current mechanism.
Correct.
But if I were to get it fully implemented, then yes. But no.
At this time, I will disconnect that and drop it down, tie off, and before I come down, I'd like to. Is there a portion, like you said, there's really hard metal that my claws bounced off of? Is it just one section, or are there just sections around? Like
It is the front, 8 feet.
okay, and there's no other section that has
The front side of the craft is meant to be able to penetrate another craft and go through it. The rest of it is just hard polymetals.
It's a reusable kamikaze.
Okay. I was just curious if there was something that I could try to cut off a chunk of metal to experiment with, and cut around it, but it's all one solid piece, so there's nothing there. With that, unless he can tell me where there might be other power things that are probably mostly depleted in the plane itself, I'll come back. I'll go down the road.
Okay. As that's going on, Nari, do you stay on the ship this whole time? Or do you step down and go and check out the ship?
Do I notice that Zareth is calling people over?
Yeah, I was just about
Because
to
if I'm on the
Perception
ship with him,
Can I see if I notice that as well?
Sure, go ahead.
Because I was just about to ask.
Zarek, who realized he was actually trying to
Damn.
only specific
I
people.
am not rolling that today. 7?
Oh,
I don't notice shit.
he's rolling
I heard it when
a...
I said it in the group chat.
Yeah, because you just
Yeah,
True.
you heard that he's going back to the ship. You didn't mention that Zareth was one.
No.
Did-
But you
I
did
thought
mention
you
that
did.
you were going to... Hey, I'm heading back to the ship.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember which one it
I
was.
got. Oh, that's unfortunate. I got an 11.
Okay. Are you taking off from the ship or staying on?
I think we're winding down.
Yeah,
I'd
I'd like to-
recognize them winding down. They've been doing stuff for 7 minutes. So by the time you park the ship, you're 2 minutes in.
Nibs will be he's talking. You can hear. He's like, well, I'm
So
disconnecting.
then, well, before I don't want to get out of sight of the skiff for sure.
Oh
but
no, the skiff is inside of where they are. Period.
Well, no. But if I was to leave the skiff,
If you were to leave the skiff, you can still see them. You can see them, so they can see you.
yeah. So I would want to walk along that path where the other skiff marks,
Okay.
skid marks of the skiff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Would be kind of what direction they're going in. If I can figure out if it stopped in front of a particular building,
Okay.
that's what I'd like to.
So you kind of go and.
But I would like to keep looking back at them to make sure
Okay.
they're not dying.
As that happens, Mikhail, you kind of step back onto the ship, and Shrek, you slowly make your way back. This is a little past halfway through your guys' dialogue with each other. And as you guys step onto the boat, Zareth then goes over to Yuzai and grabs your shoulder and begins to lead you down below deck.
Okay.
As you all
Sarah's gonna kill you.
As you all go below deck, Zareth turns back around to you guys with a very, very serious and blank stare. I apologize for not bringing some other people around, but I thought it would be more prevalent to have this discussion with ourselves.
Right.
I overheard discussion last night. I was speaking with the creature, with the ghost, whatever, and she couldn't leave the room. So she possessed me and I left the room. Invisible. Now, everything's a bit of a blur.
But he would work.
Everything's still a bit of a blur. I don't have any specifics. But your little kobold friend and your genasi were having a discussion with their stones in a bowl so that nothing could hear them.
Does he speak a bit? Does he primal? Because we did it in primordial.
He is just saying, he
Yeah.
has no specifics. He's just saying that they set their stones underwater so that this conversation would be completely on its own.
So he doesn't know what they said at all.
Oh, he has no clue what they said. I have absolutely no clue what their discussion was about, but it was very much private. And from what I could tell, just on my insightfulness, it was a very tense conversation. And your robot friend was waiting outside in the doorway for them when they came back.
Man, they're always trying to stir up shit.
I don't trust. I'm losing a lot of trust with them right now.
What did I have?
What have we done? What have we done to lose your trust?
We're not actually part of this conversation.
He was probably looking at another girl again. They go way back. Their romance, it's a really strange one.
Deception, baby! Oh god! Zareth was pretty damn well on his insight too.
I'm sorry, poor Zareth.
20.
I like how I'm just pinned on this because I was.
You were just on guard.
14.
I was just on guard,
That's
man.
a 14.
That
Because it looks like there's a little slot.
Can I see it?
that is a 14, I believe, because it goes.
Yeah, that's a
That's a
14.
14. Okay, so 14. So 23.
23? Okay.
I think you
Zareth does not entirely believe you. You're very well on insight. He's like, how does I don't want to know.
How does that work?
Fire, red dragon. It's all the same thing.
It only works in dragon form.
Wild shape, baby. Who needs a bear when you got a dragon?
He breathes. She's.
Anyway, he's like,
Like this whole drinking thing.
okay, let's.
Sorry.
If that's the case, then okay. Like I said, it's still a blur. I wasn't able to read their body language incredibly well, but I thought that I would let you guys know because honestly, I have been distrustful of the little kobold, and what's her name? Nari has been a bit of a dick. So
We appreciate
Yeah.
you cluing us in on that.
Nibs is a bit of a piece of work at times, but he's got some good ideas every now and then. He's made us some money over the long haul and got us out of some sticky situations. So,
I can recognize that. But
don't much care for his asshole syndrome, but he makes up for it in other ways.
I can recognize the cons and pros of having people in your party.
Yeah.
I just thought I would let you guys know. Especially since this Prometheus guy seems to like riding the edge of the truth.
That's very fair.
I have a feeling that we're all going to have to be quite careful of our words here pretty soon. And with that, he just kind of steps back up on board. And at this point, you guys... Nibs is crawling down the rope at this point, and he just kind of looks out to you guys. Come on, we gotta get going.
Are we gonna have any dialogue
you
about
jump
what
in.
the actual nature?
He stepped out.
So he's gone.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we actually think they were talking about? Do we
I'm
have
just going to
any
continue
idea?
saying the exact same thing.
Oh, okay. Even with me?
I'm just convinced that that's exactly what was going on.
Oh, you're actually convinced on
No,
that?
I'm not actually convinced,
Oh.
but I'm
Trying
convincing
to actually
you that I'm
convince you.
convinced.
Oh wait, can he actually do that? Can
Well,
he?
you guys can roll an insight on basically what I said.
Okay.
He already rolled his deceptions.
Yeah, you have to beat a 23.
True.
Yeah, if you don't get a 23.
Okay. Well, what is my insight? My insight is +5. I'm gonna try.
19, too bad you didn't, Barty. 19.
Okay, never mind.
You're like, I know there's something weird with
I
that
rolled-
snake-eating son of a gun.
I rolled a 5. What was it? Insight?
5.
So yeah, so 10.
You
I
are
have-
convinced.
Convince the party they're an item. Yes!
You know, I was just thinking about that, like, how often does romance, like, on the way here, I was like, how often does romances happen in parties?
That
Just-
depends.
Not in my
like-
party. Not in my...
And that's fair, because I know you don't normally do it.
I
just thought I was
if
like, just
players
wondering,
want
like-
to do that, okay, you can, but it can't suck up more time than other narrative aspects of the game.
Yeah.
And I am not going to have an NPC romance you. because I am not comfortable with it. I am not going to be like, okay, how's that changeling ass doing tonight? I'm not going to do that.
Well, so after James put me through it, so you did it to him, and then I had to do it for him as the
James
DM,
who?
Penor
Oh my god.
So he's like, I want to do this date, and it took up like 2 hours of the session. But everyone was like, oh, I want to see this. I love the way you're turning red, Logan.
It was great. Yeah, the rest of the party was just like, oh, we're doing this. You're not getting out of this. Because he was trying to be like, oh, well, we'll do this on the side. And the rest of us were like, no, we're watching.
We're invested.
So just heads up, the girl, Bard, is going to come on to Josh in our campaign.
Yes!
Keep it under the log. I want to push him.
Okay, if you ever have someone try and romance Junbara, he might try and kill them.
Oh, I know! I mean, the only reason I do it is so you kill them. Anyway,
My goodness.
I mean, unless you fell for Aelin.
That should be like the only character I could see that happening.
Anyway, sorry. Hold. So yeah, the Bard is good.
I'm good at derailing things, what can I say?
Either way.
Anyway.
So, is there any more discussion? Does Trek have any thoughts on this?
Greg just kind of, he's laughing. I did a very bad deception, so you guys will easily be able to tell that he highly suspects that something's going on. But he's just agreeing with Mikhail and being like, yeah, it's probably just some weird fling something, and he's gonna leave.
Yeah.
I would leave too after imagining that.
I'm not gonna make my thoughts or feelings known at this point on on all of that. I'm simply just gonna go up.
And with that, everyone kind of reboards the skiff. Zareth.
I'm gonna go check on my wyvern while I'm down here.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a medicine check.
Medicine check.
It was never alive in the first place.
19.
Really?
No.
It was
That's
sleeping.
No,
I haven't killed it yet.
he has not killed it yet. It is still sleeping at this point.
Is it bigger again?
It is slightly bigger.
Yes.
And this is only another 24 hours later. So it's definitely growing at an abnormal pace, up to your knowledge. But you'll just have to see. You know of some sedatives that can put creatures out for weeks. So imagine, another couple thousand years down the road how powerful a sedative could be.
Yeah.
So you're just like, I'm patient. I want my wyvern.
What's the life expectancy of a wyvern?
Decades.
Decades? Okay, cool.
I don't know exactly, but they are dragonkin of sorts. They are cousins to dragons. So long, but I wouldn't expect as long as a human life.
Okay,
So
got it.
either way, as everyone kind of reboards the ship, unless you guys have anything else you would like to take a peek at, you begin.
Am I alone downstairs?
Did I figure out what
I
direction?
would say
I
at
was
this point,
going
yeah.
upstairs.
Did I figure out what building or direction that the stuff was going in?
So it weaves in and out throughout this area. And so you go maybe a quarter mile down, and then it takes a right turn, and you're like, I would not be able to see this skiff if I kept
I
going.
wouldn't leave.
But you kind of peek down, and you see it goes down a little bit, and then takes a left.
Okay.
I'm going to get on the... Okay, after seeing his grenade launcher thing, will the small ones power it?
No.
Warden does ask Nibs.
Do we have an uncharged one that would work?
You guys have not really found many capsules for batteries.
We haven't found...
You haven't found empty ones.
Okay.
This is your first time finding any.
I mean, you literally described them as like little like cylinder thingies.
Mhm.
Warden as Nibs, not Nibs, small one. Can I see what you have found?
Yep.
Sure.
I pull out the three of them, and then I give you the I don't know what it is gun.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is. Trigger gun looking thing.
Yep.
I am going
You
to
have a gun,
analysis.
It
Well-
has a trigger on it, and that's all I know.
Oh, the dildo with the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
So
Yeah.
Nibs.
Analyze.
Yeah, analyze.
But I probably recognize.
Nibs doesn't know what that is.
The
He has
dildo with a trigger is a +1 laser pistol. And the batteries serve as
Don't show that anywhere.
25 shot magazines for it.
These cylinders are specifically designed.
These ones are specifically designed for that.
Yes.
Interesting.
It's not this. When he said cylinders, I was hopeful that I could power the tools that I gathered,
Yeah.
but they are not the cylinders.
If you found empty capsules, you possibly could transfer
Siphon.
that energy and siphon it into a general battery. But
So
these
is-
are pretty much magazines.
Just kind of. Actually, hold on. How careful do I want to be?
How intelligent is he?
So it's a +1 laser pistol.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
but hold on. So Warden, I just rolled a 19 on my own personal reflection here for a second. Realizing what it is, Warden will say, "This is a technological weapon, possibly far beyond your understanding. However, I do not believe it wise to use without training. If you wish to see it in action, I can show you sometime soon."
We're limited to 75 shots between the three of those. 25 each is what you were saying on the power packs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe we can, as we head back to the ship and start calling up, say maybe you can run me through several drills or something, like katas, like how I do, and I do some martial arts, a quick kata thing. Says without any of the power in there to get me accustomed with it and work through it that way.
I believe that would suffice.
Well, in the meantime, I guess I will leave it with you then. Because I already gave you the power sources, and I handed you the gun. So you have the +1 laser, which is 3d6 plus 2.
It is 3d6 plus dex modifier, but you have to be proficient with firearms.
Unfortunately. Which is why I did state you do need training with the 3d6 laser gun.
Yep. So I will remove it from my inventory.
That will go into my bag of holding. Not even I can wield it.
Yeah, I have it in my bag.
You don't have a firearms proficiency, however,
Do not.
I would consider laser pistols a fairly silent firearm.
Are they?
Whether they're considered that in the mechanics of the game or not, I don't care.
A laser pistol, yes. Plasma? That's a different.
That's a different story.
Yeah, that's a freaking.
That's a.
Yeah, I mean you're literally fire.
Think plasma gun
That
or
looks
like
like good.
Star Wars blaster. Laser pistol
That's
is more
phaser.
like more like a phaser. It's much quieter.
So,
But, wait, why does the noise level on it have to do with
Surprise
whether or not
attacks.
Oh,
he's a sneak attack dude.
yeah, that's true.
If he runs a gun, he no longer gets sneak attack for the rest of the round, pretty
Yeah.
much. Or at least doesn't get surprising in the surprise factor. Anyway, you guys load back up into the skip and begin making your way to the Aquarius warehouse. I would like you guys to make a investigation check, as you have a general idea of the area, or whoever wants to can. You have a general idea of the area of where this is, but you were not given an exact location. You were
You
given
said investigation?
yeah.
16.
I'm
Nibs
rolling
doesn't
like
really care.
crap today.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
Just-
Hold on.
I'm using up
You don't have to roll at this
all
point.
the
You can let them
mojo.
roll high enough.
It's okay. It was an 8.
So Nibs has been trying for the last, I guess, 18 hours to be nicer. He's apologized to people. He helped do the burial shroud for your little one, and we burned him together. I'm gonna go over to Nari, sigh, and go, I didn't eat the little one. And I will tell you that.
I overheard him saying that he ate the little one.
No, I told him that I
Oh,
didn't.
that little one.
I did not.
Wait.
I did not eat his, and I told him I didn't eat yours. says, I did not eat yours.
All you said is eat yours.
You said, it is assumed that I ate your little guy when I came back with blood on my face.
I said you ate my baby, and you said you told me to get rid of it. So yeah,
You told me to get rid of
you
it.
did
So
basically tell me you ate it.
what I said was, you told me to get rid of it. So why does it matter the way I got rid of it? I did not.
Okay, so are you telling me that you didn't eat?
Yes,
eat mine or his?
I did not eat yours. You saw me do the barrier
I'm not gonna lie, I
shroud.
don't believe you. Because of what I heard earlier, that's my assumption, and because
it's
other
like,
people reacted that way too.
I'm going to apologize, and I guess so. Would insight, persuasion, how do we,
I don't think she would
ever
sway her mind, and I don't think you can sway her mind.
Yeah, I you're right. But it's like I will apologize. Like regardless, I apologize if and it's like. I will apologize that my actions offended you, and regardless of what happened, I am sorry that I honestly did not think any way I disposed of the child would offend you.
I'm gonna nudge Mike, and I'm gonna be like, lover's quarrel. Like under my breath.
I'm just gonna kind of. just kind of giggle.
Wait, do I know that he's giggling?
Well, I mean,
I would say that's not something you're focused on at the moment.
you're rather mad still, but Nibs.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Here.
Frankly, I'm gonna say. Nori's gonna say. In the end, it's really not that big of a deal. It was just more shocking in the moment. But in the end, it wasn't going to survive. I mean, just look at Trex. Trex, sorry.
Ammunition item for laser pistol.
No.
So we'll just leave it. Then it does. So you forgive me.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna walk away. My eyes are
expecting
gonna
that
flare
from
just a little bit, but
with your pair of dirty 20s, you guys are fairly quick to find the Aquarius Developmental Facility. Zareth pulls you up, sets in park, emergency brake, sets down the plank, and
look at that plank.
stepping out onto this ground, these roads are much, I don't want to say nicer, but seem more heavy duty.
Where did we go?
To the military base.
So the military...
Did we follow this?
No.
Did I see? I would
No.
have wanted to.
You don't see any other ones.
Fuck.
Okay. But you go around the side, and near the far north side of the facility, or of the whole city, you find the Aquarius Developmental Facility, of which you guys park, and you guys see
What direction did I last see this kid?
far west.
And we're on the north side?
So the entrance you guys pretty much came into was on the southwestern side of this sector of the city.
Okay.
So far north of the city, you guys were here.
Okay.
And you guys have made your way up to here.
Okay, and I last
And you
saw
saw-
the skid marks over
You
there.
saw the skiff marks in the southwest side of the place. So, you guys step out, and this facility is not massive. Or at least in comparison to some other places. It is a 4-story building that's, an above average size warehouse looking building, but it's 4 stories tall. It's deep though. It goes a couple thousand feet back and is, 300-400 feet wide. So it's big, but in comparison to some of the other buildings you've seen here, this is nothing. So you guys step out. This building is completely made just of bricks and stone. It is a very, very basic building in comparison to some of the other things that you guys have seen up to this point. And you walk up to the glass doors, and they are already open for you.
Does our driver stay with the ship?
No.
He is very interested, obviously.
He is as curious as you guys are. So,
Personally, I keep thinking that Zareth is going to bail, so I am going to keep an eye on him.
okay. Another thing you notice is a lot of this area, while it's a much more sturdy building, it is also fairly decrepit and ruined in some regards. You notice specifically on the side of the building, on the right side of the building, go along all the way down, there are plenty of large, like, bay hangar doors, some of which have been just completely destroyed, and the doors, like, slightly bent outwards in some areas. There are holes in that side of the building and such. You guys step into the building, and immediately to your right and your left that you couldn't see through the thick stained glass, there are two small, like, turret systems on either side of the door that are pointed towards the door but are hanging limp as they have been deactivated.
Same.
Okay. And there are also, as you, like, round the first corner, so there's, like, the entryway secretary desk, and then you go around the side, there is a small pack, and when I say pack, I mean a small group of automaton security droids, similar to that of what you fought at the other developmental facility, that are completely shut down and deactivated.
When we fought and destroyed them, did we get an idea of where their power cores and power things might be?
They were not investigated in that way at the time.
Didn't I shove
I
one
thought-
in my bag?
You did shove one in your bag.
I'm gonna look at him, look at you.
He shoved one in his bag to save it for later, but we have not
No.
yet
I'm
taken
thinking,
it.
didn't they have like recharge stations, and that's where their power stuff?
Well, yeah,
Yes, but
but
they still have to have a battery in them
I'm gonna
for
look
that
at you, look at them, and then gesture at my sleeve, and then gesture to you, not saying anything, just like. And I'm gonna look at you and then go, okay, take my bench, see if I can put one on my sleeve, put his arm in. It doesn't pull in, I assume, right?
power. No, it doesn't.
I would be like, I'll shrug and go, you got room?
That's a great question.
Do you have noted down what all you have in your bag of holding?
Yes. Okay, so
Let me see
currently
this.
in my bag of holding, I have the plate armor, the laser pistol, all the things, obviously all the components.
A whole bunch of daggers, a glaive, a couple long swords, miscellaneous items.
Miscellaneous
You
items.
have 10 pounds of oats just chilling in there.
Actually, 30. That was the
Actually.
shit we bought for the horses and everything else. Remember?
Yeah.
No. In here, I have roughly left. Obviously, these have all been all been used.
Yeah.
I have about 10 pounds of iron, 5 pounds of steel, 3 pounds of bronze, 3 pounds of brass, 5 pounds of copper, 5 pounds of lead, 5 pounds of coal, 10 pounds of wet clay, 20 pounds of leather, and assorted metal dusts and other dusts.
And
75 pounds of obsidian, and all of the high-tech tools used in
You are
packaging
sitting at about
and
85% capacity in your bag of holding.
And I do have one automaton, which is the idea.
You could probably fit one other automaton, maybe most of a second one in there.
I am gonna kind of just brush them off, but ask them, are you wanting to take one?
It's like, well, they might not be active, but they're not destroyed like the one we have.
I'm gonna walk up to one of the security droids and start physically disassembling the limbs and then just kind of handing it to him, since he can't exactly put the whole one in his bag
Yeah.
normally, but I'm just going to
Disassemble it.
disassemble it enough to go into his bag.
Okay.
Congratulations. Disassembled automaton.
Okay. Cool.
You have a disassembled
Security drink.
security droid. Or
Alright.
security drone, I believe is what they're called. Either way.
Okay. Nibs is gonna have like this kid in a cookie jar, a kid who in the sugar jar, kid who got the cookie. I don't know the expression. He's going to be very excited, but trying to keep it under control, like, you know. Yeah.
You all should appreciate my restraint. I was about to make a very bad joke and decided not
Thank
to.
you. Yeah. So, all right, and then we continue on.
And then you guys continue on.
Yes. What is my question? I speak primordial.
While you were disassembling it, did you find the batteries? Or the
But I
memory
also have
cores?
comprehend languages.
All I did was disassemble
Okay.
the limbs and the head.
Okay.
Fuck you! Sorry.
So I did not.
That's what you rolled?
Basically,
So that's an
Every
F1?
time. No, that's a nat 20.
Oh.
Because it's an FU and an F me.
would
Oh.
I know where the battery packs are and things in the droids?
How did I get bugged by
The
something
answer to
inside?
that one is yes, because something he did mention is I did work on building other.
So before we leave, I want to see if there's batteries in the others and see if we can extract them while you're disassembling, since you know where they would be since you worked on droids.
Okay.
I'm assuming he's asking me if there are other energy sources like that inside of these. So
Yeah.
I am going to take out the one in my bag and the chest from his and disassemble it.
Okay, so as you disassemble these looking for their battery packs of some sorts, you are starting to realize how capitalistic its use was in making batteries different for every single item. Battery pack
Efficient.
companies, they made batteries.
iPhone versus Apple. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
It's all the
Yeah.
50 USB-Cs and
Mhm.
E's and fire. Yeah.
Yeah. So
C
these
squared.
would be able to charge another. They are mostly empty. They're mostly tapped at this point. You could siphon energy into them if you found a core of some sort that had a charging factor to it, and possibly restart a fresh one or maybe some other type of machine.
So the one that was killed is basically almost empty,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is empty.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm going to just, since he shows me real quick, can I just take my claw on robots we pass by
Yeah.
and just cut them out and take the
I'd say
the
you
empty
probably
batteries?
get another 6.
And these are empty to like 2% kind of
Yeah.
things. Okay.
Half to 2% to 0, somewhere around there.
All right. I'm just going to collect some of these.
So as you guys make your way through the halls, you see a sign that really catches your eye that says hangar doors. And so you guys kind of peek out, and you notice this is a very, very deep building, and you haven't gone very deep yet. How is that so? And you found yourself going up a little bit, and you end up opening a door, and you peer out to the rest of the building's length and width. This is a 4-floor tall building, all in one massive hangar door that goes 1,800 feet down. You see all of these bay doors and hangar doors on the ceilings all the way down. There is a second set of rafters in which you see ERC-17s set up. You are looking down and around, and all the way at the end, I would like you guys to make perception checks.
17.
Would I be able to?
Nice.
Would I be able to just say that any
27.
17.
any words that we
You
use
said
to
perception.
describe this,
It's a perception.
like hangar doors? This is obviously a runway and a hangar kind of area, very very long. Or
There
is it
are no
kind of-
runways.
Oh, it's not a runway. It's a hangar bay for aircrafts. I'm
They just go
translating that as
So
you're
like
as
Star
you're saying
Wars
this. I am to the
Yeah,
best
I
of
was
my
about to
ability
say
translating it to a more
Marvel, all the big ships.
not scientific level of people.
Okay.
So it's like this is for those flying things. And
Yeah, this is for the flying things, this is for the things on the
Do
ground.
airships exist in this realm? Like, would they know what an
There
airship
are
is?
Airships.
flying ships at this point, yes. But
Okay.
like boats that are in the sky,
But
not
that's still an
Not like
airship.
aircraft.
not aircraft, but airships.
Yeah, it's still like an airship. That's kind of how I.
In fact,
Nibs is going to think real hard to see if our
I rolled
our non-benefactor is around. He's like, how upset would you be if we kind of kept,
I got
if we did some looking around for odds and ends?
so
I'm just gonna think that real loud. It's like,
okay.
is this an area you don't want us touching, or can we take souvenirs? You're just gonna think that.
What did y'all roll in perception?
27.
Because you got a nat
26.
20 again, yeah.
17.
You got a 19.
I got a 19. I got a 26.
26, 15.
17.
17.
You got an 11.
11.
Darn.
So, you two who rolled pretty high, you guys see at the end of this area, not at the very, very end, but very, very far down on the right, you can't cast or catch a very, very small glimpse of a purple shoulder section with a long blade on its backside. You guys notice one singular acetron in the back of the building still.
Does
Ooh.
it glow?
Warden is going to put out his arm and say, halt.
Okay.
And I'm going to stop and watch it. Does it move?
How long do you watch it?
about 30 seconds maybe.
It does not move
Minute.
in the 30 seconds.
How about about a minute? I'm going to wait about a minute. Just going to wait. I'm then
You are
going
too
to-
far away to tell to see if it's active in sentry mode or anything like
Okay.
that. You just see it, and so do you, Mikael.
Um,
You see it.
What are we
As
waiting for?
okay, and
What's going on, my dude?
down the ways in this hangar, there's an what's the word?
It's an acetron.
Acetron. There is an acetron.
Oh, the ones that went and killed everybody?
I recommend we proceed with caution. And I point out its location.
Oi. That could be really good or really bad. And I kind of look at you and smile.
Look what you're good.
I'm gonna keep walking now. Oh,
So, do I have a mental response to my...
As you have asked that, after a short period of time, you begin to think that, okay, he's probably somewhere deeper and can't sense me here. After a short period, you hear, I guess. I mean, I have been waiting all day. You have taken more time than anticipated. Come meet me with the big guy in the back when you're ready.
Was that in all of our ears?
That was in Nibs' ear.
Nibs is going to kind of go blink blink. Well, that's interesting. So I think he wants us to meet him by the big guy when we're ready. And he's going to kind of look around and go...
You mean Snake Eyes?
I'm going to nod at you. And go, but he's not opposed to us having a little sticky fingers on our walk.
anything notable along the way that we could?
You
stick a
asked
finger-
him, didn't you?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm not touching anything in his house in this house. I look around, I rephrase that. It's like,
I'm gonna look over him like, yeah, fucking right, you wouldn't.
and I just pull out, I kind of pull out the leg and go, that wasn't his house.
Not anymore, at least.
That
Yeah.
was outside of the main hangar.
Yeah,
That was
so-
on his front lawn, okay?
Okay, if you leave a basketball on the street, but it's on your curb,
Uh,
that's public ground, alright? That's mine.
Exactly.
So as we continue walking, since sticky fingers is now allowed, per the
So as Sticky
Oh.
Fingers is allowed, you guys see surprisingly few items and crafts, but there are still a fair few. When I say surprisingly few, it's because there are hundreds of bay doors and you only see a couple dozen things.
okay. Well, what given that this is a hangar, Warden is more or less ignoring all of the docked aircrafts
Nibs isn't.
because he already knows they're all going to be powered down and empty because they're literally on the racks of the hangars.
Mhm.
You know, they're
Nibs is
they're
gonna
not
see-
going anywhere.
Yeah.
Just gonna go. But he's looking for supply crates, rooms, as well as any other, hangar bay warehouse
So anything of major use, as in
Yes.
like batteries and such.
batteries, weapons, tools.
Go ahead and roll me an investigation.
Oh, fuck, I suck at these.
And if anybody else wants to roll anything.
All
Hey,
right.
what?
Investigation.
Fuck! I knew my luck would run out eventually.
Go on.
2 nat ones.
That was investigation, though.
Yeah.
I actually rolled a 6.
Oh, insight. Yeah. So,
If it wasn't obvious, I got a 1 on my investigation.
Yeah, I got that.
Nibs
What did you
goes
do?
to see if there's little compartments, like the little compartments where he found the gun and the stuff.
I'm wanting to. Nari's more wanting to pay attention to everybody else, like what everybody's doing, as opposed to like what's actually here.
So Nibs is just going to check out one of the planes to see if there's little compartments. But I rolled a 6.
I want to make sure nobody disappears suddenly.
So
No one
I
runs off.
Nibs is
assume
gone.
I assume that it's either
That-
locked
no.
or I can't get into it with a 6.
Yes, you have a tough time even getting up onto the racks and like scaffolding up at the top and moving around. Like all of them are very much sealed and like airtight. In terms of batteries and such, what did you roll? 15. You were unable to find any. You get the idea there was an intentional removal of anything to power the items. Like, yeah, we're gonna leave the items because there are just too many of them to confiscate. But we can take the power sources, and then no one can really use this
Damn.
powerful
And
stuff.
after figuring out they're sealed, I'm going to just scramble back down and then, I guess, walk over to Nari and just walk next to her.
So, a couple other autonomous
Alone at
robots
last.
and or crafts that you guys find. There is about 80 by 20 large machine that is hollow on the inside, and you can't get inside, but you can tell it's some sort of transport that has a massive bay door on its backside. It's about 40 foot tall, so 80 by 20 by 40. That has a couple levels to it. Massive bay door on the end, and it appears to be a transport of some kind with like turrets set all of around it. This is like a full-on military scale. Put people inside, and like as you're going along the outside, specifically Nibs and Wharton, you guys like find runes of anti-magic and are recognizing that spells lower than 7th level cannot affect this.
I'm going to take a collar. One of the empty ones that's closed, and I'm going to lean it up against the runes to see what happens.
Okay, so you pick it up and you lean it up against the runes. I mean, you can't tell the difference.
Does it open?
So they just stretch out when they're released. It's not like there's a lock that I now
I'm
open.
going to look at you. I'm going to put my neck up against the rune.
So you put your neck up against the rune and you try and pull on it.
I just gotta. Anything happen?
No.
It's no choking.
There is, so like as you set up against it, you're like pulling on it and like it's giving the regular amount
Okay,
of
it's
give.
this, okay. It's
And like you try and pull a little
Runes
larger.
are higher than 7th level.
well, not necessarily. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
affected. This is still not interacting with it.
Yeah. This
I'm gonna-
is a piece of magic being touched against the rune, not an
doesn't mean
aggressive
anything.
spell being cast on what the rune
Is it?
actually do.
Since I was with Nibs, can I look for a door?
There are doors,
Can I
but they are
get in?
sealed. So like, when I say door, there is not a handle. There is like an obvious crease in a like 3 by
It's
8.
like a subway train almost.
Or vertical.
No, like a 3 by 8 section on the side of it that it's like, yeah, that's a door.
Like an airplane door.
Yeah, like an airplane door. It is completely flush up against the rest of the ship. There is no handle to go onto. You would assume there is either some kind of spell or.
All right, I'm gonna run back and just pull out paper and start writing down the runes.
Okay.
Just jotting them down as with my drawing them out and showing the anti-magic runes.
Okay.
So that's
While we're at it, Warden states, wait a minute. Let me see that other intact collar you have.
I got 12 of them. So I tossed you one of them.
Like one of the ones that are like still
Yeah.
semi-active. He's going to he's going to sit there and very closely look at it and analyze it this time. He says, with the memories I had returned to me, I have found that I have worked closely with arcane magics and runic spells specifically I may be able to decipher something new this time. And he's going to.
Nice.
Go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
Okay, I'm sorry, what are you
Is there any way that we can assist him
Necklace
in this?
Arcana check.
And Trink's gonna assist him.
Yeah.
As I was kind of saying earlier, a mental process is not something that can really be assisted,
Except for Bardic Inspiration.
except for with bardic inspiration of some kind.
Wait, doesn't?
okay,
Did he
you
already
could-
use the? Did he already use
Yes.
it?
I already
'Cause
You
used
use it immediately.
I used it
Oh.
immediately.
Anyway, it only lasts 10 minutes.
Okay, well, I will cast it again.
Sweet, I have Bardic Inspiration.
So roll your d20 and your d8.
So, fun fact. Oh, my
And your d8.
As part of my actual origin story, I gained a new perk from my background. Expertise in Arcana.
Yes!
Which did jack shit for my roll. No, sorry.
Not jack
6 plus 4, that's a 16.
A 16. With a 16, you're looking at this. One thing you can see for sure, this is not Asusian magics.
My dice will do chill.
Okay, so we know.
You know nothing else other than this is not a
Can I
type of magic.
decipher roughly what level I could assume it is? He doesn't want to say it.
No, it is a yes and question or answer to your question, because the neckband that you are holding seems to be somewhere around a 4th level incantation, but it's not something that you can counter or dispel. It has protections against that. But as you go and look to your own, it is of 7th level.
Yeah, because there were differences. Yeah.
Now, that piece of information, in some regards, is new, completely solidifying the fact, to your guys' knowledge, that not all neckbands are made the same. There are different types or different levels of them.
Just like the damn batteries.
Damn capitalists.
Well, I mean, they are slave traders. That were.
That's about as capitalistic as you can get, let's be honest. Anyway, as you guys continue on, a few more crafts and such that you see one that has 4 treads, and it appears to be a very large automaton that has about 8-foot long spikes on its heels that you can assume it treads to a spot, anchors down, and these 2 massive, 4x4x4 boxes on each of its shoulders that have little tips pointing out. You would assume this to be some sort of artillery piece or anti-aircraft automaton. Moving either farther along, you see, as best to explain it as we would know it, a car. It is now these are treads, and for some reason triangle set treads rather than like an oval. And these treads, pretty small, 4 of them on each of the corner of the vehicle, and it is a massive armored vehicle. For short range encounters, maybe you can fit a dozen people inside. It does have a swivel turret on the top.
Does this one have an obvious door? Or
It does have obvious doors with handles,
So an APC?
pretty much.
Battery powered as well.
I am continually somehow translating this into our characters' lingo.
it's a water wagon.
So, yeah, I was going to say it's a war wagon without horses.
I feel like I'm just a tour guide at this point. Just
They're
walking
just like,
down and explaining
And this is an artillery piece.
Is
What's
the
artillery?
doors unlocked?
Oh.
The doors are unlocked.
I would like to go in.
Yeah, I think once the door opens, we'll just kind of stop.
So do you open the back door or the side door?
I don't know.
I would like to go to the one at the very front.
At the very front? Okay, so you...
I guess Nibs will go to the back then.
Okay, so Nibs, you open up the back and you see there are bunk beds that slide into the walls and seats that come out. So you can sleep in here, or you can just travel in here. And stepping in, looking around, like, you see there are tiny compartments everywhere, like little compartments for personalized items and other stuff. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Oh yeah, Nibs is happy. Since we got this one open, Mike, are you gonna take a look in, or are you just this is old hat for you still?
I'm trying to decide how close to you I was.
I'm just kind of standing about 4 or 5 feet off, just because it's like I'm a travel. I'm literally just a tour guide right now.
Yeah, I wasn't close enough to really be paying attention to what you were doing. I was off exploring my own on
5.
the other side.
Okay, so you're kind of peeking through on one of the compartments that you kind of like hit, and it somehow just pops open. It's a small, maybe 1.5 wide, 3 inches thick area. And inside there is a small bag in which you hear clinking inside, and then a small scroll that you pull out. And which one do you look at first?
The scroll.
The scroll. You pop open the scroll, and at the top left section it says Fairies in Feywild.
That sounds like one of my books.
Oh my gosh, is it like a porn magazine?
Nibs is gonna stop, kind of look at it for a second. Lift an eyebrow. Now, does it look like a spell scroll?
Roll an intelligence.
Can I roll an insight?
No, I would say that you know what a spell scroll looks like. This does not look like a spell scroll.
Okay, I'll look at it.
But this is 12,000 years ago spell scroll.
I'll just start slowly unrolling it.
Okay, so the front had a picture of not too revealing a character. As you open up, there definitely is a revealing photo, but underneath it has text, and it's describing rules to a game.
I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to walk out.
It's D&D set in D&D.
Literally.
I'm going to kind of lift an eyebrow. Was that it?
Is that to us?
No. Okay. They just said it again. And I'm going to walk over to you and hand you the scroll and go, I don't know, this might be of interest to you. And then I'm going to look in the bag.
You're going to look in the bag. In the bag, you kind of pop it out, and there are a set of dodecahedrons and then a pair of 6-sided dice.
I'm going to shrug and go, And then I'm going to hand you the bag as well. It says, these were together. I think you might find this interesting since you always are looking into different things in the Feywild and all.
Oh. Thank you.
It's like,
That's a way.
it's like, do you open it up and look a little bit to see what it is? Or do you just...
Nope. He saw you look at it and just kind of put it away.
Okay.
But he does say, I gotta give you something in return at some point.
It's like,
At some point.
oh, fine. Sure, I'll take first dibs on when we split up loot. He just kind of grins and goes, nah, I still owed you for biting your snake.
Speaking of which, can he go over to Nari and give the snake to her?
He gives you his snake.
He gives you his snake, or at least offers it.
He said, I have been talking with Twig for a while. I thought it would be best that since I'm going to be thing a lot, I can't carry him around all the time. And since you lost your child, he is in need. And he's very nice.
Emotional support snake.
What did you say?
It says he likes your flaming boobs.
Which one, Shrek or the Twig?
Snake.
Is it Twig? Is that what you call him?
Twigs.
Twig the snake.
Twig?
Twig will catch fire.
How big is Twigs?
What?
How
How
long
big?
is Twigs?
Oh, old, did you say?
Long.
Long?
Size.
He's like a viper or something like that. I'd say like 4 feet maybe, at most.
That's a big snake.
That's a big snake for you. Does it wrap around your body? How do you
Hold
carry
the
it?
phone. How do you
Belt.
carry it?
Belt? Hey man, my pants falling down. Tighten up.
I thought it was like a garden snake when it has the name Twig. It's like
A thought it was like a little tiny viper.
Damn.
I was gonna say, Twink. Yeah, here's my pet anaconda.
Anaconda.
I
Anaconda.
said 4 feet at most.
I'm gonna look at you slightly
4
and then
feet
be
looks-
like,
In comparison to his body size, I mean, that's
and then I'll take the snake, kind of perch him on my shoulder, kind of see what
Go
he
ahead, roll an
does.
animal handle.
Ah, shit.
This is a low DC. It's Twig. He's friendly.
Also,
You
Zach,
get
I did
your
text you
poison.
some details
Okay.
about. I did cast
I got a
a
10.
spell to convince Twig that she is priority to watch over and keep safe.
There is no good way. I don't look at my phone while I'm doing D&D. We'll figure that out
I'm
later.
mostly just very Nari's like very confused,
Okay.
mostly.
Nibs is just gonna reach up to his ear and go, "You can see through the eyes of the snake, so be careful what you say and you can see around it."
Are you talking to me?
Yes, but the 4 of you guys here,
Yeah.
they don't.
He can see through the snake?
It's his familiar.
You can see through the eyes of your familiar.
It's
If you.
not even familiar. To
It's not a familiar.
It's not.
If you don't know that, you don't know that. But if
Yeah.
you think that, the druid
Nibs thinks that because you're a druid and the way you reacted. He's like it's like so he might. It's like says, I go. Druids can see through the eyes of the familiar, and it's
I'm
like
gonna be. Did you give me your familiar, dude? That's kind of
No,
weird.
No, he doesn't like me that much sometimes. Honestly, we fought a little bit. He gave Venom away to Michael, and he didn't really consult me or anything. But
I'm just gonna get more confused as you continue talking. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
it's a breakup. That's what
Poor Twig's had a bad breakup.
we're frenemies. We're frenemies. He'll do a lot for me. I'll do a lot for him. But yeah, and yeah, no, he's not familiar. He's just gonna watch you. Watch over you. Kind of stuff.
Watch you.
He's just gonna watch you.
Rabbit eyes, they're watching you. That's all
I'm just imagining a snake doing that. They're watching.
Anyway, so
I'm just gonna.
Nibs is just gonna lift an eyebrow behind your back and be like,
Yeah, I just rolled deception. As far as like exactly how I sounded, where he was like saying watching you and stuff like that, it is a little suspicious. But it's out of the goodness of his heart. You can tell that.
Cool. What's up, Twigs? Guess we'll be buddies now. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I'm just gonna walk away. I'm
Can
gonna
I
keep my
cast
eye
Speak
kind of
with
like on my
Animals on her?
shoulder.
On
Nari. On Nari.
I'm gonna put a hand on my
Speak
dagger
with
in case it
animals?
starts
Can't
like.
she speak? If I cast speak with animals on here.
What?
Need you.
Okay.
Oh, I guess it's not the one I respect. Darn it.
How's the
Speak with animals is a stealth spell.
Okay.
Yes, I.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
So yeah, you went to the cockpit.
Yeah, how is the cockpit looking?
The cockpit. Yes, there's just a whole bunch of hay in there. No. So as you step in, it is completely empty. There appears to be like a central barrier, not like a full barrier, but like a hip-high barrier in between two seats
Okay.
on either of the front side.
Okay.
There is a cylinder that goes down into the front side of the machine, and a small like rotating wheel
Okay.
that is propped out. Stepping inside, like just looking at, go ahead and make an investigation check.
This is gonna be 16.
The 16. Looking around, you end up finding, like on the very bottom side of this little console that holds this wheel on the bottom of that cylinder, there is a little spot that you can definitely tell something's supposed to go into, but you
Okay.
look around and you don't see anything to go in there.
So that looks like the way that I would start it,
You would assume so.
but there's nothing around that fits in there.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, that was the only thing I was gonna look for is a way to start it, and if there's no way to start it, then it's not of interest to me anymore.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
I guess just keep that in our way.
Yep. And that was the last. There's like multiple of each of these as you pass by. And so, at this point, I'm gonna wait for Claire to come back down. As a whole, I've been meaning to talk to you guys a little bit as a group, but since we have so little time during the sessions, I kind of just prioritize that. Where exactly are you guys on like how you're enjoying the balance of, say, exploration to social to combat?
That's pretty good.
Exploration is a little bit harder for me to like wrap my head around, so it drags a little bit more than like the social and the combat, obviously. But I do.
It comes with it. He doesn't quite know what to do.
Yeah, I don't know what to do in an exploring sense.
It's just an experience thing.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I think this is section 15 or 16 up to this point, and we have had like 4 combats. Maybe 5. Because 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, I wouldn't mind more combats, but I do know that of the the major conflicts we've had, they've all been major.
Yeah.
Like, as in, like, yeah, party's probably gonna die, but like, there's not very many. I don't even think we've come across an encounter that's just like, oh, here's a couple of dudes.
Yeah, there was only really one, and that was the security drones.
Security drones.
Security drones are the only ones that have been like, oh, we're probably fine, but that one took a while because I kept blinding and doing all their augmented shit.
Yeah, they kept doing all their
We've
augmented
just been
shit.
talking, not.
Not
Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind
D&D,
more.
but-
I wouldn't mind more not life threatening, but does wear down the character throughout.
Yeah. The only thing that I see about that is like I enjoy doing like multiple combats a day to like wear down characters and use their abilities. But we're here for 2.5 hours. We only get 1 combat, and then it's like, okay, if I want 2 combats in 1 day, that means 1 day is 3 sessions, which makes it very, very difficult to progress. Because I wanted this campaign to be like okay, we're kind of done close to the end of the year campaign, which we might still be able to make happen, but would be difficult.
Oh, I can make it happen. Just might not be the ending you're looking for.
Oh yeah. We
A satisfying conclusion will probably not happen by the end of this year because we're looking at 4 months left, which is meaning we're doubling the amount of sessions that we've done so far.
Yeah.
And I would not say we're at the halfway point of this campaign yet, unless things just somehow spiral out of control and go really quickly. So, if you guys ever do have any hey, I want to see what my character can do martially or in terms of combat, because we have had 1 combat per level, and we have not always leveled up on the combat. So
Yeah, I wouldn't mind more smaller combats. I mean, even if it would take like even if it's like a cannon fodder combat, like it could still wear down players' spell levels, which is funny because I'm saying like, oh, I don't want to waste my spell levels, but that's also something we gotta decide what's necessary. But anyways,
you have something to say, Lo?
I was just gonna say, well, Nib's just now getting to the point where he's worth anything in a fight.
Yeah.
The one before this, let me figure that. The one with the monster, excuse me, at the hot springs.
Yeah.
Is the only one he's actually been worth anything. Because I missed the other one, and the one before that, I got mind controlled and didn't do jack. The one before that, I was by myself without the group. I mean, even the fight on the bridge, I was there, but I was more to just take hits. And let Nari and Nate shoot the guys. So, I mean, there's that. If I got to do some stuff, it would be fun. But he's just now, like I said, to a point where he's worth something. That's because I've been multi-classing instead of doing the other stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm playing a strength-based monk, which you don't
You would see
Pictures of memes and sending it to people?
Yes.
What the hell?
Okay, so now that we have everyone reconvened,
Then we walk over.
you guys have begun making your way to the end of the hall, and now that you're much closer, you can see the absolutely terrifying visage that is this Acetron. Now that you're up close, it is standing somewhere around 24 to 25 feet tall.
Yes,
It-
combat questions before we walk up to this guy. That's all I was thinking.
How tall is Warden?
About Warden, what, almost
Like
7 feet?
7.
I'm about 7 feet.
He's upper
No.
6.
Okay.
Shit, it's Optimus Prime.
Hold on, I gotta look at it again.
But this creature is straight towering over you guys, and it is dwarfed by this hangar as a whole. Either way, there is a somewhere around 16-foot long blade, not the blade itself, including the hilt, 16-foot long blade that extends down on its back, on its left arm, underneath, on its bottom side of the forearm. There appears to be some kind of rifle or cannon there that has 4 rotary shots. It itself has massive plates of what you can tell to be a mix between like obsidian and mithril armors, being incredibly strong and stout, but also light and just not super loud. You can tell this creature is almost like at attention. It is in its sentry mode. It is in a very non-aggressive stance, everything down, but its eyes do look down towards you guys, and they are pure white, jet white crystals that are reflecting the lights from the ceiling down into its eyes and towards you guys as it is peering down towards you. And these crystals are like a bit bigger than your fists. And I'm talking like Warden's fists. They're huge.
How tall is this guy again?
24 to 25 feet.
Oh, this guy's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Would you say my head?
It's a sign in someone's bathroom. It says, please do not feed the horse drugs.
What?
Someone's personal
So
bathroom.
people are like, what the fuck is this sign for? What happened to make this necessary?
What is that wallpaper?
Okay. So, as we walk up, is
Ugly.
Yeah.
The ceiling.
Snake Eyes here?
As you guys are walking up,
It's
you
a
see like leaning up against the leg of this creature, Prometheus is just standing there.
I'd like to do an insight to see how pissed he is.
How pissed he is. What was that roll that you just made?
20.
20? He doesn't seem very pissed. He seems not necessarily frustrated or even annoyed, just like, okay, finally, it's time.
Oh, we finally made it to him?
Mm-hmm.
He's leaning up against the Acetron.
He'd been waiting for us.
Is the Acetron, like, active?
Yes,
It's in Sentry.
it is looking
It
around.
literally just started peering at us.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was stuck on don't feed the horse drugs. Okay,
Maybe don't get stuck on the memes and listen to the
Alright.
narration.
the meme out.
Yes. Don't watch the memes. Listen to the memer.
Meaner man.
So as you guys approach, you see he kind of looks behind him and like a stool appears and he just kind of sits down. Still like half leaning up against the leg of the Acetron. Well,
I gotta think to myself, damn, I wish I could do that.
and as you say that, a chair appears like right in front of you.
Oh,
Where's
I'm
mine?
gonna sit down.
You actually say that?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
You see like a full-fledged like L couch appear in front of him.
Okay. I will sit on the couch.
I feel like
my legs
there
are
was an eye
tired.
roll in that one.
There was definitely a bit of a
So Go Boy sits on the couch.
Yeah, I'm
the god of furniture.
Nobody's eating.
So either way, he's like, well, we don't have to speak telepathically this time.
Sarah's
Zareth has kind of been quietly following you guys, not talking much.
Okay, Claire was watching him. Nari was
He
watching.
hasn't done nothing out of sorts.
Does he?
He's just been following around, taking peeks, interested in some of the mechanical items, not interested in others. He has done nothing of the sort to act aggressive or
Well, I'm gonna take that.
distant.
Shady.
He's not been acting weird. He's just been with you guys.
Been chilling.
He's being chilling. So, as Prometheus kind of leans back a little bit. So, y'all ready to actually talk now?
Yeah.
Yes. Warden sits at the stool. Unless you did.
Oh, I already sat on the stool.
Oh, yeah, sitting on
Nice.
No.
It sits on
You
my
take a seat on the
accidentally.
couch.
Yeah, because there's a big ass couch.
I don't think so.
Oof.
I think you might break the couch.
Think you would.
Nibs is
I
just
think
right.
I'm
You would
too
roll
heavy
for
the
it,
couch.
too.
I genuinely think
Melee
I'm
with
too
his
heavy for the
ass.
couch. I will more just kind of take a resting sit
A resting sit?
Like
On
a
the
meal?
ground.
on the ground.
like Neil kind of set up.
No, just squats.
Kind of
just like,
yeah, but kind of like like the how the Japanese do, where they like
Yeah.
sit kneel.
Yes.
That's kind of what I'm doing.
And Nibs will just kind of hop up on your shoulder.
Man's doing that
This-
calf stretch right now.
I'm gonna sit on the corner, like on
There's
the
actually a
leg of the
very
couch.
interesting warrior reason why they sit like that.
Okay.
Because you're
They fall
actually
on
in
your
a ready stance to jump.
Yes.
And yeah, it's pretty legit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
it's the
badass.
stance they pretty much hold for anything military while they're not at attention. Anyway, so Prometheus kind of leans back. Well, this time we don't have to be talking in our heads. He kind of looks towards Zareth and gives him a wink. You have the sense that he probably just said something to Zareth telepathically. Probably about the fact that he had mind controlled him previously. But after that, Zareth and goes and sits down on the couch.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be by Seraph.
Okay.
Well, Warden starts off the conversation. We visited the places that you pointed to me, and I will say it has brought a great deal of insight in what was going on outside of what one could call a world.
Yes. Do you have any questions about it?
I would say that my mind is racing with thousands of questions.
I would say I probably am only here for a few, not thousands.
I'm always thinking,
As you think that, he turns his almost glare to you. Are we still on this? I don't like discussing with uninformed people. Now you are informed. I am willing to discuss more.
did you know that we could have been informed if you had just informed first?
While I like the sound of my voice, I don't like it for 2 hours straight.
I think you like it that much.
Go ahead and roll insight.
How well did I know Prometheus? Not very well.
Not very well.
Okay.
You didn't really work with him at any point. He was more
Dr. Valberman likes this sound.
auxiliary.
Are you talking out loud, or are you answering mentally?
I probably thought that.
I was mentally saying that, but then he spoke to. Did you speak?
He speaks out loud.
Okay, then I responded out loud. I got. What was it? An insight? I got a 7.
A 7? He probably does like the sound of his own voice. Probably. You don't know.
Just the way he draws it out.
Well, notice.
Nibs is just gonna reach up and go, "Don't offend the guy who can kill us all too much." And he's like, "Don't be like me."
Notice one interesting thing. He is snake folk of a sort, but he has not slurred a single S in your conversations with him. Just something to note.
I'm gonna look up at Toyd's notes.
Alright.
Can he talk to me? Can Twigs talk to me, or not me because I don't have animal
You
handling?
don't have speak with animals. Either way, Warden, you were gearing up to say something.
Yes. Prometheus, I see now that the act that was done to me, while at the time I had no knowledge of why I was being destroyed. I see that it was done almost in a sense to protect me from a path that I could have fallen towards. And I gesture towards, well, everything.
Yeah.
I understand now, even with the lack of my other intelligence cores, that my intelligence could have been a detriment to those who are living. And in the time I have spent in the body that I have now, I do care very deeply for those that are living. And I kind of just tap the cleric symbol for the temple phone.
Okay.
So, yeah, there we go.
Alright. He kind of sits and ponders for a moment. Well, at least there's no bad feelings about it. As I said previously, I had nothing to do with that decision. In fact,
Can I roll in?
you guys can roll insight again. You already
16.
rolled insight on that exact
Oh, really?
sentence.
16.
16? Same thing you got last time.
Yep.
It's not the roll that's got you confused, it's your character traits.
Yep.
I won't worry about it if we already.
Either way, he continues. In fact, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, we would have
I'm gonna
been
look at him and say,
we would have been smarter to keep a creature such as A6.
Make me.
Same thing for you, Trek. Like, you pretty much believe him. But that doesn't mean there isn't some little doubt in your mind, in Trek's mind, that's like, I don't know, seems sketchy.
Got it.
Continuing on.
my whole thing is, sorry, maybe this is more like internal, but like, why is he wasting his time? If he really finds us so insignificant, sure,
Well, now
he's curious.
he no longer finds us insignificant because he just found basics.
He no longer finds you insignificant. The rest of us, he can.
This is
give a
very
shit about.
fair.
So what? So like, what's his agenda? Like, I don't know. Is this something
That's-
I'm trying to?
We have
something we're getting
45 minutes to dig
Find
into
out
that.
his agenda. So
Yeah. We keep interrupting him, but we're gonna roll every sentence to see what we think.
You guys are welcome to do so. You guys didn't last time around.
I say we just roll a static roll for the whole conversation, and if at some point someone.
I think for
rolls,
every
I
sentence you roll, and then I roll, and then we'll just go around.
Good idea. Let's
Everyone just
I
do
would
a
roll an initial charisma check for the whole.
Why can't we do
Conversation.
insight?
No, for him.
For
On
him.
his side.
No.
It's just going to be a flat charisma
Okay.
check.
I'm just gonna roll a flat.
Whether
insight.
it be deception or charisma, I will add his roll to that. It's not a very high roll, but he has a high modifier.
And insight is wisdom, so I'm just gonna roll a flat wisdom. Wait, wouldn't that just be my net? Wait. My passive perception is 17.
Your passive insight.
Oh, my passive insight is also 17.
Okay.
So,
So,
that's an insight. It's also something.
Yeah, let's just go off passive. Come on.
so continuing on.
My passive is 18. So
Right.
I'll see what happens.
Passives are not nearly as good as your
Yeah, same.
'Cause
So
it's-
I'm gonna keep rolling because
Yeah.
I'm already distrustful of the guy, anyways, and such.
I would like to continue to roll. I'll keep rolling too.
I'm just trying to speed things up by
Yeah,
using
I-
passives.
So he continues on. Let me be entirely honest. I can sense a lot of aggression, may I say. He glares at you.
I'm gonna give him the well, no shit, dude. Look.
How about this? I'll make you a deal. I will cast a nice little spell called Zone of Truth, and it will encapsulate all of us. And you can all accept that you will have to tell the truth if the question is asked. And I will allow myself to be submitted to the spell.
Rick says, great idea, let's do it.
Personally, I don't say much, and he can already read my thoughts, so I don't see it as an interest. I'm on board.
I'm gonna.
Hold on. Does the caster of Zone of Truth have the option to not be affected by the zone?
I am attempting to look at Zone of Truth right now.
I was going to say.
Can we confirm that before?
You can cast it, and he can cast it.
I know that I can cast it. Is whether or not I have it prepared.
Yeah, you do not have it prepared right now.
I know I don't.
Let me-
I have all of these healing.
Zone of Truth. I'm going to read out the spell. You create a magical zone that guards against a deception in a 15-foot radius sphere centered at the point of your choice within range. Until the spell ends, a creature that enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts in there must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the creature can't deliberately speak a lie while in the radius. You know whether each creature succeeds or fails on its saving throw. An affected creature is aware of this spell, thus avoiding answering questions, and can thus avoid answering questions to which it would normally respond with a lie. Now, you can also choose
So
to
you
fail
can't-
the saving throw.
Okay, so
You can't lie, but they can't force you to talk.
Yes.
if you succeed on your saving throw. But if
He is giving a bargain.
You can also
If
dodge
everyone
force.
chooses to fail this saving throw, he will also.
Yes.
I see. So
Because we can choose.
basically, we all can't lie.
Pretty
But
much he's
based on,
saying no one can lie in this conversation if you're willing to make that.
but we can avoid answering.
But you can.
Not answer.
But you
Well-
cannot answer. That doesn't mean that will not
Don't.
bring immediate
Okay.
attention to
How
that.
how do half truths work with
Oh,
this?
as long
You
as
can dodge the.
So,
you
for
can dodge
example,
Is that how you
if
dodge
they-
by
so-
half
here's
truths?
So
the
if
thing.
one of them asks either of us,
It doesn't
what did we
force.
talk about? And it's like, well, we decided what room we were going to meet up if things went bad.
Yeah,
that's
they
a
can
that's a
dodge the
direct
question.
answer. We don't have to mention any of the other stuff. That's
It's not a
allowed.
force.
But that's not. That one technically wouldn't be truthful because that was not discussed.
No, it
That
was. It was.
We
We
have,
have no.
we made
We
plans
talked-
where to meet, and it's
Okay.
third floor, 11th room.
Yes.
Okay.
We have a meeting.
I watched through the session twice and I did not.
So
I
that
did not
yeah,
remember
so I
doing that
watched when I watched
conversation.
through the session. It was there was a few words that I could hear. It was mostly underneath
Yeah,
the other
so-
stuff that was going. It was
Yeah, we
mostly
talked
words
it
I knew.
out. You,
But I did make a note. If shit
Okay.
hits fan, meet Nibs on the third
yeah,
floor.
third
Okay.
floor, 11th room.
Anyway.
Yes.
Bring Warden. That was the other
Anyways,
thing we had decided.
But
Warden says,
Um,
I will.
he was
submit."
asking. He was asking.
He was asking everyone.
Yes.
I can agree.
But
with
it
that.
was pointed towards you because you were the one being.
Nibs is just going to look over at you, raise an eyebrow.
Me?
Yeah.
Fearlessly.
It's a good time
Zareth?
to dig up shit.
Actively. I'm fucking down.
Oh fuck! Sarah.
Warden says, I will submit.
Yeah.
Don't
Nibs,
say it like that, Warden.
Alright, get on your knees. Wait, you're already on your knees.
Warden, don't be a
Yeah,
bottom
Nibs
bitch
is just
boy.
sitting there. He's just looking at you. And
No, you. What you do
I'm
is
just
you
gonna
submit
kinda
your
So-
mind.
you.
Zai's down is Shrek.
Yeah, I know. I'm not thinking of it like that though.
I know.
Nori's a rough and gruff fighter.
Jade,
Getting it in.
are you okay with that? Is that something
And
Trek is
very
down for?
low under my breath. I'm just
So
like,
truth, yeah, right when he
I
mentioned
don't
it, Drake
know
was
about
very
this.
excited for that.
Okay, so we've
Why?
got 2 yeses, a yes.
Yes.
Yes, Zareth is a yes.
Mikhail's
the
the only
last
one
two.
who's
Mikhail,
waiting.
Mikhail is.
But I don't suppose we got much of a choice.
No, you don't have much of a
Nibs
choice.
is just kind of. Nibs is just kind of gonna
You can
nod,
do
and when he looks at the rest of the group, and goes, you seem to be right on that. And he turns and looks at the rest of them. He goes, so, are we going to talk about things on point and relative, or are we going to have a open our hearts up and discuss everything kind of thing? It's like, are we going to be? Are you interested in our darkest, deepest secrets, or are you going to just keep it? He's like, are you
I'm
going to
gonna-
put? Are you? He's like, are you going to put up with those kind of questions amongst ourselves, or is this just strictly factual for you?
I'm gonna make eye contact with Mike.
For this situation, this is predominantly for you to realize that I am not being deceitful to you. However, it is also open-ended for me to ask you questions as well, if that comes about.
Oh, I have no problem with that. My question is, if our party, if you want to get into the dirt and the romance and all that stuff,
He kind of smirks.
I'm gonna like look over you like.
We can discuss that maybe towards the back end of things if we really must.
I prefer
However-
to
Let's
stay
get
away from
talking.
the back doors.
We're wasting time here. Did you just say something about opening back doors?
He prefers to stay away from it. So Prometheus says, All right. And he takes a short time, whispers an incantation, and you all feel this like presence seep in to you, and you just let it in. And as you do, you like recognize. If I were to try to speak a lie, everyone would know.
I'm gonna test it. I'm just like, I fucking hate vanilla.
As you're saying that, you say, and you can't get the rest of the sentence out.
All right, guys, it's working.
Warden is immediately going to ask. So if there were survivors in this blast, and Dr. Voberman is also alive, where are all these people? Are they here? In this plane? Why don't we see people walking about?
I don't remember exactly if I spoke on this. I probably didn't.
When I asked if where is Voberman?
Yes.
Just that he was alive.
So there is a place just north of Kutor Lot called the Overkeep Mountain Range. It is a large mountain range where there are plenty of cave and tunnel systems. That is where a new society has been developed. It is the safest place to stay away from all the creepy crawlies that fly around at night. And while we could exterminate them if we wished, they serve a purpose for us.
Protection?
In its own regard, yes. And in terms of why we don't see people walking about, the fold, for lack of better words, blew up just before, at the beginning of the schism. Or at least that's what we were calling it at the time. I don't know if that's what the history books are calling it now. Gods, primordials, titans, giants, and dragons all had their alliances interwoven with a group of city-states that had been developed around this place. There was Aesius, which we're in right now, known for its highly technologically advanced autonomous creations. There was Avarice, a flying city in the north, generally populated by the fallen demons and corrupted souls. There was Avilier, which was a proud and overconfident, another flying city, traveling the ley lines, collecting power. They were attempting to go into Plana soon, but they were obviously stunted, I would assume. There was Kutor Lot, very, very high-tech society, directly at odds with Aesius, mostly with elves and gnomes inside, more on the magical side of technological advancements rather than technology itself. There was Agslagdan, which was the big boy of the city, however, of the cities, but it had no supernatural support. It was the home of the reigning Githyanki Empire that was still here in the prime material plane. They were really the only true threats to any of the primordials and gods when it comes to not having your own primordial and god to deal with. They had their own weaponry that could deal with creatures of that power. There was Acheron, which was another flying city, very arrogant and generally a warring area. There was Avarian. It was on the ground and oldest and guarded by the most of the gods. There was Damarian, an underground city of the dwarves in Duragar that would travel, as a city, travel underneath, almost as a large worm traveling underground across the whole continent. And then there's Lekar, which is south of the continent of Dern, where many of the beast races called their home. All of these had their own links to powerful creatures, and all of them had their own alliances. And as one thing went to shit, all of it went to shit. And that's when Aesius decided to bring the fold into a city square just below the reigning council's keep in Utorlot, and when I said that someone messed up the math, that's not entirely, completely the truth. They messed up the math, yes, but not on the base setting of the bomb. They increased its range capabilities. When you're about to set it off, you can change it. You can change how close it's supposed to be able to blow up from, or how large it is.
Do you believe it was on purpose?
I do not know. The operatives who went out and used said weapon knew it was a suicide mission. Whether it was intentional or unintentional, that they set it to its maximum radius, I do not know. But they set it to its maximum radius, and now all of us are stuck here. So, with all of...
How have you been able to travel to other planes?
You rolled a 20 on insight?
Yeah. Just now.
What are you inciting?
So what do you,
He's in a zone of truth.
I know, but he's also really freaking powerful, so if there's anything that he is purposely avoiding saying, just out of intelligence,
I would say,
if he's actually exempt from it.
at this point, you have sensed nothing that is like a half-truth or has truth in it, but also has some misleading. Also, I will say, on his charisma check, he rolled incredibly high. So I don't even know if there is a possibility for you guys to technically read it.
Even with a 27?
Bro,
This guy's much higher level.
The answer is no.
his modifier is a good roll for you.
Damn.
So, continuing on.
How have you been able to travel to other planes?
We can travel to other planes, and by technicality we can. It's just high-level magic. You can plane shift and just be on the Feywild all of a sudden. However, it seems the Fold is almost powerful enough to follow you, and keeps you within a certain area.
So it's only been through magical means that you've been able to travel.
As far as I know, yes. I am not in incredibly close contact with every member that is still surviving here in the Fold. But in terms of getting back around to your original question, A6, the reason why people aren't walking the street is because everyone is dead, other than those in the Overkeep Mountains. As I somewhat explained to you before, the shadows and the ghosts and the lost souls of this realm are those who have died post-explosion. Because of all of this, you would say, well, where are all these people? Me and some comrades, we are not from Aesius. We are merely parishioners and helpers there. When Aesius called for our aid, we came. And we came with a small army. And that small army is very good at what they do. We came in expecting to help Aesius in their combat with Utorlot and possibly Agslagdan and maybe Avarice, as it was going to be flying this way as well. We were ready to fight gods, primordials, and dragons all the same. However, we weren't entirely, other than me and a few others, knowledgeable on what was going on with the Autonomous Rebellion. And so, when we diverted all of our power here, we were betrayed by some outside that we trusted, some very powerful creatures and beings that slaughtered the rest of our group as we entered the Fold, and he kind of blanks off for a little bit.
What happened to the rest of the automatons?
During the Autonomous Rebellion, the Day of Reckoning, many of those in the city, any non-corrupted autonomous device up to that point, they took out the battery pack and put it in a space of holding, or teleported it to another plane, all in one big capsule. Aesius was, while very capitalistic a society, very much about sharing things. And so there were general areas in other planes that you could set things, and many people took out power sources, took out anything that could be immediately corrupted, and Are you?
Yeah, so never mind. You just kind of answered that question as I was getting ready to
And
answer.
what of the corrupted automatons?
We destroyed them. Jesus, while maybe not the most militarily powerful, is still very, very.
Where's the automatons that killed everyone? Would
Destroyed.
they- By whom?
By them, in the people in this world.
Us.
Before the nuke went off.
Recognize also, well, after the nuke went off. After the nuke went
Did
off,
they become sentient then? Sorry, this is kind of like
the autonomous things, the acitrons that
Yes.
were hacked, yes, they
That-
became sentient.
so now they
Corrupted,
are.
completely melted into ash.
Nibs is going to call. Well, you do yours.
So corrupted is code for sentient?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Because they see that as an error rather
Yes.
than something that is predestined.
Mhm.
Okay.
He just kind of glances up at this big guy and goes, "Assume he's not been corrupted, or he's been reprogrammed."
No, this is one we were able to repurpose. We were able to repurpose two, and this is one of them. And we have left him in this city just in case he finds something or we missed a straggler that somehow was able to survive this long and is trying to come back for some of the other equipment here.
Do you know of anyone that's been in this city recently? Any human or
I
adventurer?
only have triggers set up in very specific places. This development facility. the
There was
laboratories.
a set of skid marks coming in that caught my eye.
It's probably one of your people, one of the skiffs that came in. I don't know
And there was
about
also some
everything.
dead adventurers.
Wait, what?
There were dead
There were
adventurers
dead adventurers
inside
by the entrance of the northern section of the city.
Oh,
that we entered through.
gotcha.
I was
missed
kind of
that.
spacing during that part.
Yeah, I think I did too, or I was upstairs.
You were thinking
Okay.
about the big holes. in the wall.
I do not know anything about that. He kind of pauses halfway through. Technically, I do know a little bit about that. All I know is that robots killed them. I don't know how those robots were still active.
So how did he get that? How did he get that sentence out? If you're not.
I
able
said
to get...
it paused halfway through as he
Okay.
was telling a half truth.
Okay, got it.
And then brought it around. More of a, oh,
Yeah.
I'm forgetting I do know a little bit about this.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough to tell you a full truth.
Yeah,
I know enough to tell you a theory.
got it.
Nibs is going to speak up for the first time, kind of just pat you on the shoulder, pat you, and go. I've got 3 basic questions. One, with your knowledge of Warden, as he goes by now, do you see him as a threat to the stability of your people? His existence, is he an issue for you?
The only thing he's a threat to is the sanity of Dr. Wobbeler.
He's gonna nod and go. I assume that, I guess, cards on the table. My assumption is there's something you would like, even if it's just knowledge from us, the only reason you would deign to deal with us. And so I'm curious on that, but I'd also, the only reason we're here, and he's going to tap this collar, is, and goes, our masters want us to come and make a map of this area, of the Vale. You guys have been around here for quite a while. I assume you have a map. I don't know if you'd be willing to part with a good map of the area, or at least let us look at one and copy it. He goes, and that's why we're here. And then he's gonna nod and go, I assume you have something you want from us, or even if it's just curiosity.
Wait,
Well,
wait.
would you prefer me to finish answering the previous question?
I
Because there
thought
is
we
more
were.
to that.
I thought you were done with that.
Well, he got cut off multiple times, and then someone just started asking more questions, and he's not going to butt.
I've got a lot more questions.
Oh yeah, I know you do, but
Yeah. Get to the important stuff.
I just, yeah.
To briefly, as I've been speaking for a while on this question, what occurred is once the fold went up, everything went to shit and everyone started betraying each other. And so the group that me and my comrades brought in were able to slowly or swiftly but surely dismantle and destroy
It's like our master
every other
to
group
see what we write.
and being and item. And over the last
Whenever we talk.
somewhere around 14,500 years, we have been slowly
without speaking.
attempting to reacquire every item of worth that is left in the fold.
Because he's being an exceptionally powerful dude. It would be good to ask him if
In
he
reference-
knows of a way to.
What
if he
is
recognizes the rooms.
Anyways, in reference to one of the questions, the small one said, as to whether or not my existence is a threat, what caused, or what do you believe caused, the sentiency to come about in the automatons, and why was my sentiency different?
Because you weren't sentient.
And what was I?
You were about as close to sentient as one can get without having complete free will. If we told you to go do something, you would do it. That doesn't mean you didn't have curiosity. The reason why it was such a celebration that you woke up is we knew that if you woke up, there was 3 things that could happen. You either don't wake up, you wake up normal, and we succeeded, or you wake up in a violent rage, as you would have likely had the intellect to immediately tap into some of our other cores, which would have related you by means of wireless connections to other corrupted drones. In which case you would have immediately sensed what was going on in the world, and then either gone into a fitful rage or completely catatonic state.
What?
Someone's been rolling insight because I opened my mouth. So I told him what my roll was.
24.
So he rolled a 50 and I got 24.
Okay.
So he doesn't know if I'm lying. He doesn't know if I'm lying or not.
Trick really has been rolling.
Well, you
insight.
can't lie.
He doesn't know if I'm half truthing or not.
Either way.
Or whether his accent is fake.
Momentarily. What were your other questions again?
Well, you answered the one about hostile attentions to him. So that was the first one. Second one was, you said cards on the table. The only reason we're here is
Is
because
of the
callers. Do you have we can get them off by getting a map, or do you have any insight? Would you be willing to let us look at a map of the Fade, or give us that? Well, and then the third one was, I know you're curious about him, but why are you talking to us insects? Including us, because
in regards to a map, we have not cared as much about anything outside of the towns, because there is very, very little. So, in terms of landmarks, it may still be prevalent of you to go around for a while, but I could present you with a map that has a basic layout of the cities, and the sections of the cities that are set up in here, along with the areas of the Overkeep Mountains and the plains just southwest of them. From there, you would have to do a little bit of exploration yourself. However, we can speak of that towards the end, as I have an offer for you. In terms of why I am speaking to you, if it isn't obvious enough, I don't want to be here anymore, and neither does the somewhere around 2,500 people that live in the Overkeep Mountains. We, no offense to you, but are far, far more powerful and far, far more intelligent, and yet still have not been able to fully develop a way to get out of here without the use of some very specific magical components.
Nibs is going to smile.
So you're running an errand?
And he's going to think, not just on the telepathic level, loudly, but just think about the pair journal to access, and the fact that they have a pair journal with the people who are enslaving us. So the two most powerful magic users outside are organizations that he is aware of on this continent, he is now in contact with.
As you're thinking that, contact from inside to outside the fold does not exist. So the journal you have given me is useless up until the point that it is outside the fold. At which point, I cannot exit. Which you begin to see my predicament, and the predicament of those in here with me as with no capability to contact others outside the fold, and with no capability to go outside the fold to get things needed for the ritual we have developed.
Nibs is gonna while he says that while he's talking, he's gonna start just kind of pulling on the collar again, because if the communications don't work.
No, Rhino Man even said that when we enter the fold, he can't. Like, he basically loses connection with us till we get back, but when we get back,
Isn't it he can't respond?
it all just
No,
kind of
he
it all
did-
just like auto uploads to his little book. So like the book that Warden is carrying that is showing everything being recorded,
It's recording on this end, but it's like
it's gonna upload as soon as we come back into Wi-Fi range.
Okay.
it's like writing a Google document, and it saves, but it doesn't save to the cloud yet
If
until
he
you
goes
get internet
to
again.
another realm, those paired journals work in the Fey realm. They work in those other realms, correct?
But
No,
as
because
he
it's
says-
still within the fold.
He says the fold follows him, so like he
We have
he
been able
can't
to
even-
enter other dimensions, but we are unable to speak with other creatures in those dimensions. We can't connect with them.
The-
They have to come to the prime material plane.
They're
into
there
the
but
fold.
not there.
They're there, but we are almost not, is as best as I can describe it. We are, as some of you would like to say, and have been, as some of you would like to say, fucked.
I do like to say that.
Yeah.
And so,
So I'm gonna glance over at Nibs and just be like, so is this a risk we take while we're here? In reference to the idea of asking, can you get the collars off, kind of thing.
I mean,
And that's more thought than spoken.
oh yeah, well, we look at each other and we're on kind of the same
Yeah, yeah.
wavelength.
yeah.
Anyways, his offer or whatever.
My predicament stands.
Is it worth it?
He
You guys can go ahead. I'm writing in a little journal that goes back and forth between us. Would it?
Shrek wrote something on a piece of paper,
And he
and he
sees
knew it.
Oh, I
Right.
guess that's fair.
Right.
So
yeah.
whatever.
Well, I
you're
guess it
saying,
doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter
Yeah.
whether
Anyways,
whether he sees it.
anyways.
We're just more worried about.
So, my offer, as best as I can receive it, I understand some of why most of you are here. However, you are fairly trained at clouding certain aspects of your mind. I know you have collars. I know you want them off. I know you have a reason to want them off, but I do not yet know why.
Nibs is going to remember the way people die when you take the collars off. He's going to remember the control switch and what they do to people.
Go ahead and roll me a charisma check. Because it's not a lie, but it's not revealing the truth.
His memories are not truth.
No, he's asking a very specific question. Why are you wanting them off? Yes, there is the I don't want to die, but there's
That
also
wasn't necessarily-
you have a mission here that you need the collars
Oh,
off
that's.
to complete.
But he didn't specify that.
He didn't specify that.
He's like, I don't understand why you want him off, and I'm like, I'm answering. It's a straight. That is the truth.
Okay, if you want to go there, then he will just continue on because it's not the answer. He knows you want them off because they can kill you. That
He
he,
didn't
knows there's something
specify.
more. He
Warden,
knows there's something more, but he doesn't know what.
Warden
it
is going to pipe in and say, "We are slaves, and as any slave would want to be free, knowing they are a slave to someone, it is much like the, as you call, corrupted automatons."
He kind of squints at you guys. Has there been something in this conversation that leaves you to take me for a fool?
Just the question. He's like, you got to be more specific.
Why did you come to Darren?
Motherfucker.
To find my sister.
Say what?
That is
They're my
straight.
companions,
That is
Yeah.
straight.
and I am searching for my sister.
He cracks a very wide smile.
Yeah.
I will say to find myself, which I clearly have found the place for.
You'll find someone.
And Noobs is going to look at you and go, "You already know the answer to that question."
Does he?
Yes. Nobody else in the group does, but he's like, "You already know why the answer to that question." I plucked it from my mind.
As this is going on, Nari, I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Why?
Do you guys answer? Because you're
You
just
guys have not answered yet.
Why are y'all so dead?
I don't know why I'm in Darren. I don't understand.
Bullshit reason.
Huh?
Bullshit reason.
Bullshit reason. Oh,
You were
did
mercenary.
I mention to you that I have a girlfriend that's been enslaved? That didn't we talk? Wait,
Wait,
hold
we
on, hold
might
on,
have
Jay.
talked about it a little
Jay,
bit.
do you remember that at all?
With your
I have a love letter. It's literally
Oh,
in
now I
my.
do. Okay, yeah.
Remember,
I do.
and then I remember you bringing up the fact that you don't do romance. So
Yeah.
I'm still fucked.
So
I
it
have
can
a
be an
general.
aspect.
I have a general curiosity.
Okay, but that's
figure out
that's
where.
possibly after you got here, though. Like, why do you think
Speak up
Zai
for you
came
guys.
to Darren in the first place? Was it
Like
adventure?
I'm
Was
letting
it
him
possibly
find
money
his
making?
sister.
Well, as you were contemplating that, Trek, what would be Trek's reason?
Wait, is that
doesn't want to
contemplating?
tell him anything. In fact, is there a specific reason why he's asking?
He's specifically asking because it was the specific question that needed to be asked to, in his mind, get the answer he wanted.
Yes, I understand he asked a question to get an answer, but I want to know what answer he's looking for.
He's not necessarily looking for an answer from you specifically, but I still would like to hear. He still would like to hear Trek's answer to it.
He says pass. I'm happy.
Okay. What was that? Wisdom saving throw?
It is to find my romantic partner. 'Cause I was on the mainland. Dern is the island, right? Or is the off? Yeah, whatever.
It's the other continent.
The other continent. But yes,
He's
that is why. 'Cause
I
I was
Zai's
perfectly
the only
fine
one
with
that's
it.
not a slave.
Yeah, he's the
I
only
don't.
one
I don't
that's-
have a. I
He
don't
doesn't
have
have
a
a
color.
So, what was that wisdom saving throw?
2.
So,
Big dose.
you sense Prometheus in your head.
Yeah, I kind of knew
I kind of already sensed that.
And he begins probing around. And in like a millisecond, he digs through reason of why you're here.
I have a few.
You have a few,
Frankly.
but specifically the mission.
Okay.
Because that's really
The mission or my mission? Because I actually had another mission for joining the consortium.
the mission.
Well,
Why
that means
is
he also understands now why we aren't physically saying it out loud.
Yes.
I was just saying, so then why
And
is
the
he
fact that
asking?
the other two
If
people
he's
are-
already probed, then why? I know
But
what you're
he-
saying.
he
You
under-
dove surface level thoughts, but all of you have been hiding that in the back of your
So
mind.
he literally just did a basically mind flayer attack on you, and
He has a constant running of detect thoughts, and he just decided to probe you.
It's mechanically you can pick up everything that's surface, but if you want
Yeah.
something, he has to dig.
So he dug.
yeah.
We all offered something, whether or not it was the full truth. Like,
But he also now understands why we are all very hesitant of physically saying it out loud.
I'm just gonna make eye contact with him because I know he's probing.
Yeah.
So
Because
just
of
make
the
eye
whole-
contact.
the-
If you're that far in, then you already know why we want.
I asked for honesty, and I'm curious as to why you have been traveling and not told those you're traveling with. I don't know if the idea of crews of compatriots of parties has changed in the last 14,500 years, but generally, y'all are supposed to be a cohesive unit. And yet, it seems you are divided down the middle. And he like almost glares at Zareth, and then to Nibs.
I'm gonna whisper over to Zareth. Is this a good time to I don't know, question ifs or something?
Zareth kind of leans over and he's like, I don't know. And as this is going on, Prometheus continues. I understand you have your own reasons to be here, but at least the four of you should be getting along.
Wait, you probed Zareth, right?
No, just
He
He
looked
looked
at Zareth,
at Zareth and
Zareth as someone who he's been flagging as someone who's kind of leading one side, or at least also driving a wedge in between some of the party, and then Nivs, who had done some as well. Continuing to look around, he sees you kind of like eyeing him. I understand if you do not like me, Nikolai, but believe it or not, I may or may not need your help. But if it requires me just going on to another group, I will wait another 14,000 years to do it, but I would prefer to do it now. I would also prefer the group that I choose to help me not want to kill each other. I hope you can understand that.
With that, I would like to cast. I can cast stuff in this zone, right?
Sure.
I would like to cast Detect Thoughts on Zareth. Because
Okay.
it's up to this point, I've thought Zareth has been sticking around pretty well.
Okay, well, we're in a zone of truth, so you can ask him, if you wish, a pointed question. And
but you could.
Yes, that's fair.
Nibs is not going to say anything, but he's going to think. It's like, did you give the droids a choice on where they went and what other droids they worked with? He goes, our masters and those who hold the chains did not give us choices on who we interacted with, who was together. And there are many different agendas. And just because one doesn't have a choice who one wants to sleep next to does not mean they don't have a dagger to stab in your back. It's like division is, he says, there's a phrase, keep one's friends close and one's enemies closer. And he goes, and when you don't have a choice about who you work with, you have to keep them close, but you have to keep your real allies informed of what is going on.
funnily enough,
That's mental. He does not.
mentally he's responding to. Funnily enough, my people are the people who coined that phrase.
14,000 years ago.
Even we understand duty.
Well, Warden hasn't been like trying to think in his mind much, but well, actually no, he has been. But Warden's processing it very quickly, trying to figure out when's a good time to ask the next questions he wants to do. But Warden is gonna pipe up, and since the room has been silent for like the past minute.
It's all been mental. It's all been
No,
mental.
it's all been mental.
Yeah, this is mental.
From his point of view, it's been silent.
That's fair. I want to
Zareth.
Okay, so as no, this would have happened first. Give it another second.
Sorry.
So as when you ask Sarah,
How have you caused division, Zareth, since he seems to be pointing
he
you out?
kind of like almost he's not used to intense social interaction, so he kind of looks towards you, Mikhail. Well, not necessarily beggingly, but makes eye contact with you. And he looks over to you. You know when you put a salt line on my door?
Yes.
Well, turns out they can get out if they possess someone.
So you're traumatized and want to take it out on us?
No. I was possessed and walked about the halls invisible. And I saw you and Nivs over there talking with your stones in water, meaning you're trying to hide something. I can't speak the language you were speaking, so I don't know what you were saying. I merely informed the rest of your party. Other than Mr. Robot Man, who is also outside.
I speak up at this point, and I just go, I told him that you guys were likely having a discussion about your relationship.
Nibs is just gonna go,
And just kind of stare
yes!
at you.
We discussed the fact that if something happens, we would meet up on the third floor on the 11th room. It's like,
Zareth leans forward. So, you don't believe the rest of the group needed to know this information?
Everyone else
But you
was.
need to speak in a different language to be discussing this.
We were surrounded by ghosts, everyone but the warden who was on guard, and I'm going to gesture at you and say, and him were asleep. We were discussing different issues, and he says, and I told Warden we would talk in the morning when we had a moment to chat. The issue being...
So a safety plan is not worthy of waking people up for, is what I'm hearing.
Not with the attitude some of these people have. So
Zareth is very obviously incredibly distrustful of you at this
and
point.
it's like, several of these fuckers have done things that would have endangered the lives of him. I'm gonna flat out say it, and it's like, there were choices that were made, and I don't necessarily think they have his best interest at heart. And it's like, so, I wanted to have something in set, so if something went down that endangered his life, he would have an option to survive. It's the only reason I challenged you when you misunderstood his actions. He is special. More special than the rest of us.
Zareth kind of just leans back and nods back to Prometheus.
Nari's actually slightly confused because that's definitely not the vibe that she got from him originally. So now Nari's a little.
Oh, who cares? It's true. These are all things. Yeah. Me and a lying son of a gun.
They're all truthful lies. Because they have nothing to do with intent.
You got a what?
26 on his.
On insight?
Prometheus is also going to roll insight on this.
Well, while you guys are rolling insight, Warden is going to pipe up and say, I never realized there was such a desire to protect me. I was given our mission and assigned to this group strictly as a defender and healer.
That's a 22 from Prometheus.
I have acted
Not good enough.
strictly as a defender and healer of our party. I have acted as such since the moment I stepped foot on this continent, to act as a defender and a healer, and how best to keep every person in this room alive. Other than that, I do not understand why I am the one being kept alive.
Who did anything to hurt Warden? Like, I want, like, genuinely, like, I'm so confused.
Okay, so he grabbed a freaking unmovable rod out of the door and went over and went to stab it inside of Warden while he was
In case Warden turned
but while he was open with all the internals, he would have put it right where your memory cores were. This was a discussion
There
I
have
wanted.
been a couple situations where Warden was
Warden
possibly
does not
engaged.
realize.
But Warden was not
Warden
conscious
is
of
not.
it.
Yes, he is not conscious of it, and that was a conversation I've been trying to get along with you to talk to you about.
Yeah, I technically don't know fully what all happened when I was on campus, other than the fact that I had my memory core
Upgrade.
upgrade. Well,
I was gonna say he's also
and that I am
passively
now aware.
exaggerating some of it.
Yeah.
But
I'm aware of what happens
it's
now
not
when I
blood.
was at the table.
It's-
But like,
So
also,
as-
he was created by these people. If these people's technology is being operated, or is operating on him, why would we not be scared that that was going to do something to harm us?
Well, harm you guys, harm him, yes, harm us. But it's all in perspective. And like I said, I wasn't here for that one and the responses and things that happened. Nid sit back.
Roll on your.
Oh, I got like a 7. I got 7. Well, yeah. Well, no, that's +5. 22.
22? Okay. So Prometheus at this point, kind of looking around. That's adorable. Well, I didn't realize we were going to have a family therapy session. However, I believe it is necessary if you are to do what I ask. So, here's the deal. We all have some shit to deal with, but you don't need me here to deal with it. So, what are we gonna do here? He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a map. And he spreads it out. It is a, I don't know, like 40 by 30 landscape portrait of the whole in the area. It is not completely filled in.
Is it more than we had going?
Oh,
Yes, far more. It's detailed in the cities around the Overkeep Mountains, and just the Overkeep Mountains being these.
Like here being the plains southwest?
Southwest, yes, the plain southwest.
Wait, where does the fold encompass?
Everything through here, and just the southern section of Absalom.
And
so-
Gibbs pulls out cartography tools.
And so he says, you may keep that, and you may go around the fold. We will provide as much protection as we can. You shouldn't have too many issues, but if you do, he looks up and to his left. He will accompany you.
She's just gonna go lean up and go, well, that goes that idea.
Do we have
This is
room
much
for this
better.
thing?
He goes,
It is more than
We'll
enough
make
to
room.
keep up with the skiff,
well,
and silently as well.
It's made of mithril, remember?
So it will be able to keep up with you, and it will defend you, and you will likely have absolutely no martial issues for the rest of your time in the fold. However, once you have finished mapping out the rest of the fold, I request that you come to the Overkeep Mountains. We will make it easy for you to find us. And from there, he looks towards you. You can meet Dr. Ballman again. To the rest of you, we can possibly provide some superior equipment. But, in regards to this and giving you the capabilities to finish your mission to release your collars, he pulls out another piece of paper, flops it out, and it's only a page and a half long. But there are 7 lines on it. And he sets it forward. You may read it thoroughly, as much as you can. It is a contract. For me giving you this help, and giving you the capability of doing things. And Mikhail, as he's saying this, and helping you find your sister. And then back to saying to everyone vocally, you will acquire some things for me. From my knowledge of you, you have contacts with some knowledge bases. You could possibly do things. From my knowledge of just probing your mind, you have a link to a powerful crime organization that could possibly apprehend some items that we need.
These items so that you may escape the fold.
They are items that we need to perform a ritual. A ritual that we believe will supersede the fold. The fold, for those of you who understand magic, he specifically looks towards you. Because, not nature magics, sorry, Trek. Says, the fold would be in consideration as a 12th level transmutation spell. The ritual we have begun and have been attempting to perform for a few thousand years at this point is closer to 13th level. And it is an 8-hour long ritual which requires 3 major items. 1, it's difficult, but you need the soul of a devil, which honestly isn't as hard to get as you would expect.
People might do.
Actual devils, not demons. There's demons and there's devils.
What's the difference?
Devils are like, think higher level.
So demons are generally, nowadays, humans who have been turned into fiendish creatures, whereas devils are the ones making the contracts for those souls.
Devils are like, they're like the honchos.
But devils and demons don't like each other. They've been having a war for eons. Either way. So, the soul of a devil, which is somewhat difficult because you would have to...
What a soul killing one? As long as it's a stab at the devil.
Yes.
Not a soul trap.
Yes, that would work. As much as you can get us of Tarask blood. I'm assuming that's going to be something you have to contact your people back on the mainland to apprehend. On top of that,
His eyes are just like... Nibs is chewing his lip.
and we need honestly, I don't know if you'll be able to get the Tarrasque blood. It would be incredibly difficult. We may be able to pass by without it if we have everything else. So, Soul of the Devil, as much Tarrasque blood as you can get a hands on. I mean, general magical things, Heart of a Dragon.
You said 3 major items: Soul of the Devil, Tarrasque blood.
You just gotta.
And
When you say Heart of Dragon, it was just gonna go blink and then look at it. So,
you
look
want
up, look back up and go. Just It's the first time he's ever happy he's not a dragon.
If there are the possibility for a few other items, they would enhance the capabilities of this ritual. Things like a written riddle of the Sphinx. Or, I mean, volcanic rock that used to be attached to Raushan from it's the large volcanic mountain southwest of here. It's
Which one?
it's the big volcanic mountain.
Oh, okay.
That is where Raushan used to home himself. He's a primordial. Many of the rocks there would technically have been a part of him at one point or another, so any of those could possibly work, but you would have to recognize it as such. He can identify it. Any incredibly powerful magical artifact or item would help, along with just as much gold as humanly possible.
Gold.
Value. Items of value increase likelihood of fate itself letting you succeed.
The rogue gets to hold the heist.
Who gets to decide the value?
Heist. He gets
And
to hold
this
the
is
heist.
just kind of like it can be a sentimental value to one person who's a part of the spell, and just flat out value for items and currency itself. If you can retrieve all 5 of those, that would of course be preferred. However, I doubt you'll get all 5 before you make your way back to us.
Can I do an insight on the contract?
Yeah, sure.
Specifics I'm curious about.
That's smart. Insight as well. I rolled a 24 for insight.
You meet my 14.
So Trek goes and begins to read the contract. In reading through it, first it lists out everyone's full name, including...
What does it say for my full name?
What does it say for your full name? It does say, I don't know your character's middle name, but it does say, Silestone.
It does not say Koto.
No, it does not.
Okay, what else?
What does it have for his name?
What is your character's name? It's
It's
Mikhail Huntsworth.
no, that's
It's, I know that's technically not it. It does list out the given name to everyone, not their chosen name.
Oh, so mine's just-
Mine is the same.
Azix, Nari, I would assume Zai is the same,
Yep.
along with Nikolai. No? What does Nikolai show up as?
No, really?
I'm looking
Four
at
people here with the wrong name.
We have 4 people here with...
You should say that out loud.
So, anyways, people look those names don't really matter here.
People here with the wrong
So,
name.
Trake,
I think names do matter. It's a contract.
as you are reading through this, it gives the given name of every member of this party, including Zareth Darkwood. And it details out what it is requesting of you, and it only demands the return of 2 of the items before the contract is technically fulfilled, but requests bipartisan extra reward if more are retrieved. It includes in small text you guys retrieving them by any means possible, and specifically help with... Actually, no, it does not list that. So, it specifically lists what you would be looking to have, names of everyone, specifically bring 2 back or more, if at all possible, with extra reward.
What's the consequence?
The consequence is a slow drain of energy until at some point you will be sluggish enough to be possessed by a creature that will return you to the fold, whether you have those items or not.
I'm sorry, what?
So,
Is it like a demon possession? Or what?
No, this would be an arcane possession.
Interesting.
It would break down your mental aptitude to withstand magic until the point where the weave itself controls your body until you are back into the fold.
And then I can't escape kind of thing?
Nibs'
And
name
then
is 9.
you're in front of someone far more powerful than you.
His name is what?
9.
9?
Yeah.
So the number 9?
Yes.
Okay. It's 9 parentheses nibs.
Well, everyone, it's not his chosen name.
Yeah.
You see,
No.
the very first of my names is just some incomprehensible name in another language that I don't know anyone is going to speak.
Well, all languages are
It's been so
translated.
long that I haven't even spoken.
Is it Sylvan?
No.
Okay.
Is it? It's not one that's listed. I'm just saying
Okay.
because even my character doesn't speak it any longer because he's been traveling for so long.
Okay.
And it's just some incomprehensible name, and then you just see like Mihail Huntsworm, and then a string of like 30 other names, all just in a row. Like literally, it's like a paragraph.
So that's why it's a page and a half, because I haven't listed much. The rest of it is just...
There's literally my name is just half a page.
And so...
Nibs has, if it's going to list multiple names, Nibs has multiple names as well.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a...
No, seriously. Because he takes on personas.
Yeah. So, as...
That sucks.
Those names don't matter as much here. We're technically past
What is the time frame in which...
the time frame. The time frame given is 6 months.
Down my nonchalant watch.
I would like,
because this will require us going back outside the fold. This is what will require.
I would like to make an amendment to the contract where we are not,
He
you said by any means possible to do these things. They cannot be, it has to be within the bounds of our colors. I'm not going to put my life on.
as soon as
Yes, but once we leave,
I can make that
and we can't,
clearly
we
present
can't
the
do
fact that
certain
I'm
things
giving you the
we can.
capabilities to release yourselves from the necklace, and I honestly don't see you having much of an opportunity to suffice any of these requests until you
we'll get the collars off just mapping.
So that little amendment,
Ideally,
But the
we are
mapping can
still
take months.
the
So,
mapping will take you maybe a week and a half.
so we're
With the
saying
protection,
with the amendment, like 6 months from the time we get our collars off.
6 months
from the signing of the
contract.
contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
From the time that your necklaces are released, 6 months.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine. Then
I
don't want to die trying to do something for somebody else when I got my own missions and priorities.
Well, if we don't do it, just freaking kill us.
Okay. And
Maybe not you, but the rest of us.
with that, he says, so, if momentarily, which one of you has the capability of contacting those back on the previous continent?
Apparently not in the Fade, but if we walk out, I can deliver messages.
As that happens, he steps up. Come with me. And as you hold him, you both apparate, and you are on the edge of the fold.
No.
If you would like to place your request, we will return.
Nibs. I need to... Okay, we're here, we're by ourselves. Nibs is gonna look at him and say, any means necessary. And he looks over and goes, you are aware of the... And he touches benefactors group and their interest in your lands.
Very, very little.
He goes, and he just kind of looks at you and goes, what do you mean? Nods, and steps out with that. So all that information is going to dump. As soon as he steps out, and he goes, do you have any messages you've written in the book for the Library.
I have a few. Do
Uh,
one of your books contact the consortio?
I do not contact the consortium.
Okay. Then he
But my library can contact them.
he puts that in his book of connecting with the consortio to see if they possibly have a solution for that. And he hands you the book, and then watches you.
I step out, and I'm holding the other collar in my hand as I hold the book out. And I just kind of sit there for a second, and I kind of lift my eyebrow, and then I stick the necklace, the walkie-talkie out, so it uploads to the other guys. And it's like, I'm gonna need it. He says, we'll check back in a week. It's the last thing. He says that. That way we can have any information. As he's standing outside there, and he looks back at him on the other side of the fade. He goes, I think this is something that you guys would all be interested in. And he writes that in the journal as well. Shuts the book, steps back, and once again offers him the journal. And puts the talkie back on.
Theory.
And he's just gonna look at you real quick and go, I understand I'm a pawn in this game on many levels, but sure put the snake in the hen house back there. He goes, he just kind of smiles and goes, it'll get interesting from here on out.
I can't have my first chance in a couple thousand years fly by.
I understand.
So why are we the perfect chance again?
No, first chance.
First chance. He goes,
We're the first adventurers to come to us.
the first that have set off the alarms that have the
The
ability.
first that have shown themselves as possibly actually capable of doing something about it.
Despite our secret.
So,
Then why are you so interested in Warden again?
recognize he also,
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
point, has dropped an accent.
Yeah, because
Oh, he's a history. And
Well-
maybe he kind of wants to hold the rank on Dr.
yeah, he just kind of smiles and goes, well, let's get back. And he kind of shrugs down like that and puts his collar up. So you can just grab him.
Yeah, he just grabs the collar and
Come back and I'm still hanging.
they were gone maybe 60, 90 seconds. And then they reappear, and you are dropped back down into the seat that you were in. Or onto the shoulder that you were on.
Just kind of pat you and go, well, the die is cast.
So, is everyone agreeable to the contract? And a pen appears in his hand.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna walk up to Ben. Look at him inside.
I want to help my people.
Okay.
Now that
So is anyone opposed to signing?
The ones that are still which name we sign under.
Your hand signing it alone will bind you.
Oh, okay.
There's
I'm
a-
just gonna draw like smiley faces across the line from my name.
So everyone signs?
Sure. I don't particularly enjoy the way that you use sentient, or that you use sentient, whatever, robot people.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
So Zerich is the last one. He comes over and he signs his name. And as he signs his name, the contract, all of your names, light orange, and then the paper itself folds itself and then burns to a crisp.
Interesting.
Prometheus continues. Well, you're welcome to leave whenever. And as he says that, Mikhail, everything slows to a crawl. You look around you and everyone else is still.
why?
Everyone else, you are welcome to leave the table. This has ended for you guys.
Time stop.
I will mute our mic. Oh!
Including for the
I want
the video. For the video,
So, oh, dang it, that's right. Technically, yeah,
just record it on
I
your phone.
am going to, well, I kind of want to record this.
Record it on a voice memo on your phone or something.
I will make a separate recording. So to finish this section, we will be leveling up. So we will be going to level 8.
Okay.
On top of that, we will be doing a time jump starting the next session of about a week and a half as you guys are finishing mapping the fold. And then you guys, there are a couple possible encounters that we will speed run through. Not necessarily martial encounters, but like finding things. Yes.
At the beginning of next week's session, can I just crank out speedrun questions?
You can ask questions when you guys return to the Overkeep Mountains later.
But I wanted to ask Prometheus. Everyone else was talking.
Hey, you asked like 5 questions. You asked more questions than anybody else.
I had.
He's got so many more than he needs to ask.
The last one was so important.
In theory, could Prometheus not write in journal and throw it outside the fold and then it would just message?
Yes, but he can't retrieve it.
He cannot then retrieve. So, yes,
And
and no,
this is fair.
that is a technicality that I didn't necessarily think about. I would technically believe it to be if he was the one intending to communicate outside of the fold, then he would not be able to throw it.
Okay. It was just something I wanted to hit. But it was almost time.
Yeah, it is almost 9. And then
I'll just
email him the list.
I'll just buzz the question.
So
I'll just say that Prometheus was actually just answering all of my thousands of questions.
I would also like to talk to you a little bit about Saturday before you leave. I'll make this quick. If you're willing to just.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna.
Woohoo!
I'm excited.
Yeah, I know Claire has to go. So either way,
they're really excited.
general recording. Bye bye.
Stop.